Are now my enemies. Always tell you what to do. Can't keep up with all the bullshit they're throwing your way. Always looking for the easy way. Now they're walking over you. Yeah. Never felt so damn frustrated. You're just wasting my time. All my feelings that I dread. Can't believe the words you said. Somebody save me. Now we're hanging by a thread, and it's ringing in my head. All the feelings that I dread. Can't believe the words you said. Somebody save me. Now we're hanging by a thread. It keeps on ringing in my head. I wait for someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I back myself, I get sooner than this. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I back myself, I get sooner than this. Don't you wish I would've been someone else? I wanna feel your death without making a mess. And Stop myself a while.
Hello and welcome everyone to Octane Online Racing, excuse me, Series 6. I'm Jamie Saxon, we're here for round 3 at Zolder. I am all on my lonesome at this point in time, so no one else to get between you and me. That's it, that's how it is, and that's how it should be sometimes, but not for long, because actually this is going to go downhill real fast if it's just me all night. Glad to have you all here. Looking forward to some very interesting races here at Zolder, as well as me maybe this time getting both some corner and some people's names correct, but no promises on that. Will there be more wet racing is already the question of the track, and I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll see. We don't actually get to choose if it will be wet or not. It's random. You can see that on the server variability list when we jump in there. But, for those who raced last night, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share your tales amongst chat. For me, I got to experience the back of the grid for quite a while. Not what it's cracked up to be, but that's okay. Me and Braden had some fun. But yeah, definitely some very interesting conditions that we saw last night. A very difficult track, I think, Zolder. Everyone has different views on it. Hello, Vax. Bat thick test. Your tests have succeeded. I've been trying to think a lot about Zolder and try to figure out a couple of things. One, are there any tracks in ACC where you can be completely outside of the white lines and that's okay? Because I think there's 4 different points where I know that you can. And I'm just curious if there's more. But 2, as a commentator, where's the action going to be? And by action, I don't mean NASCAR action where people plow into a wall, although that's fun to watch. Where are the overtakes going to happen? Because it's such a tricky track. And we say this about all tracks, because all tracks are complicated. But I'm just floating ominously above Senecas here. And I feel like right now, this kind of pit straight, coming into turns 1 and 2, 3 is probably the opportunity, and you've really got to get some poke out of what is it, Jackie X, turn 10, to maybe get a run in through here now, in through turn 2, sweeping down into turn 3, which starts there, and then into turn 4. Turn 3 is a puntable area, says Pat Thick. Yes, I said it when you PM me, and I appreciate the kind words. But I enjoy a bit of side-by-side, and that's one of the few places I feel like on this entire track you could really get some side-by-side. So in the wet conditions, just a hair offline and it knocked me out. Okay, it happens. That's fine. We were having some good racing, and I enjoy that. If I wanted to race without people, I'd go hot lap. Hello, Andy. Hello, Rusty. Emily, I see as well, is in there. Thank you very much for being here. I will plug as well pitwall.live. Really quite useful for seeing what's going on. If you see me looking upwards like this, that's because I'm looking at yet another computer to try and figure out all the thing that's going on there. So that gives a really good, interesting take on where people are. And if you want to see kind of head-to-heads, and if you want to find head-to-heads and tell me about them, because sometimes we miss out, yell out. But yeah, you can just on pitworld.live, you can pick a couple of drivers, and that'll give you some head-to-head stuff. And I hear some noise. That may be the ominous arrival of Space Dog coinciding with some rain for qualifying. Is this your fault?
Yeah, it's absolutely my fault. We had a bit of rain in Split Yellow last night as well.
We did. We did.
Yeah, what a way to mix up Zolder, the track that is extremely hard to overtake on. What a way to mix it up, just with a little bit of wet.
It added an extra dimension, certainly, and people. I've said before that I really love changing conditions in particular, and this qualifying is not going to change. It's going to be wet the whole way through. But I love the dynamic, trying to pick the right tyre setup, and people will find it easier if I go to the on-track view. They might see a little bit more there. And I need to check if I need to update the race control piece as well. I do. Alex changed on me, but that's okay. I will correct. Yeah, it adds, I think, a lot of depth to a race. At least that's my take. You know, people getting things right, people getting things wrong. I know race 1, I was driving about 25 psi pretty much the whole race.
Oh yeah, I was about the same. I was really, really low. Like I think I pitted twice. Once to change tyres, and I still managed to get it wrong. And then the second time I had damage, and I just wanted to drive around a little more safely. And I was towards the back of the back of the pack anyway, so I might as well pit and just enjoy myself a bit more.
Yeah, you and me both. I think we both had a bit of a race of who could stay on the track more, and you won.
Yeah, by a very small margin.
Look, I had a penalty, which in hindsight I probably deserved. Coming in through turn 10, I thought I was pulling up and getting around and leaving enough space, but instead I took a Porsche out, so my apologies to whoever that driver was. So yeah, I was a naughty boy, and I did get pinged as well. Not for what I told you that I suspected my penalty was for, as you might have seen in some of the other side chats. No, I was out of position on the grid, which was a tough one. And this is my plea, my public defence, because the stewards are absolutely right. Like, they tell us every time, close it up, don't leave a big gap. But I was nervous. I saw like there was an entire car gap, and I know the car who was supposed to be there was actually like 2 cars ahead. So
was this a race where we were meant to start side by side?
Maybe. Because and I was kind of creeping up, and I'm like, no, I'm basically stealing an entire position here because someone else is out. So in the end, I left quite a large gap, which they tell you not to do, right? Like, it's somebody else has made the mistake, not you. So I actually got a fair whack of a penalty for that. But no, I mean, the stewards tell us every time, don't leave a gap. If you see a gap, just close it up. So I didn't do that, and so it's on me. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, these last 2 corners on a formation lap are pretty tricky to keep it close as well. Like, I came out of the corner and I still had quite a gap in front of me, so like I floored it to try and close up the gap, but at the same time it's a pretty short run to the straight, so I was a bit fearful of when it was going to go green. I'm like, I don't want to be doing 100, 110 when it goes green. I want to be doing 80, so it's fair for everyone. So yeah, I had to really draw the line between, like, do I close it up or do I stay all the way back? And not risk speeding coming into the start of the race.
Yeah, I actually lifted off the line to make sure that I wasn't grabbing an advantage that way. So it was definitely challenging. I tell you what's not challenging, or at least for Senakis, is just this track in general. It's just got a casual first outlap in wet conditions, 132.8. No worries, I'm fine with that. That's okay. We were doing, I think, 135s in the wet.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if Senakis' qualifying lap here is quicker than my fastest dry lap.
He's, well, it might be held up because it's only an 8-minute qualifying. This is not very much time. And he's found himself with some traffic. So we see the cars finding what is definitely the track limits.
Quite a margin as well. 1.4 seconds the next car in line being Gallo.
It is, yeah, it is. It is outlap. It is probably some drivers with some very awkward tyre pressures. And I know some drivers still get caught out with this because we want simulated weather, but then everyone just drives in the dry anyway. The target pressure for these wets is 30 psi, and people go for 28, and it doesn't work because that's the dry pressures, not the wet pressures. It's just the stuff that you have to know.
Well, I think I was taught that rule of thumb that you go up 3 psi on your tires for the wet, but I believe that was quite some time ago, and there have been updates since that have changed how that all works. So I went with that old rule of thumb, and then I'm driving around on tires that were running at 33.5 psi. So again, I had to pit to change that because they were ballooning like there was no tomorrow, and I lost grip very quickly.
Yeah,
especially
so I had
in a 40-minute race.
I had no excuse because I was just high of 30 in the wets. So for race 2, so yeah, as we see a Lamborghini off. This car is 62. There's a lot of cars tonight, so it's going to be tricky to follow.
That would be kitching.
There is 38 cars here, and plus a safety car. Oh my goodness, this is going to be everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Although you might not have heard as well, they asked the question. Oh, Hobbsy's here as well. Mate, just snuck on in.
Yeah, I thought I'd sneak in here.
Oh, how are you doing tonight, mate?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm looking forward to the race. If this is qualifying, this is going to be great. I mean, I say that when we suffered rain in both races last night. We don't talk about that though.
Yeah, we just say race 1 was rain because it popped up saying damp, and then I think it was. Yeah, we were halfway through lap. We were halfway through turn 1, and it stopped. It was just greasy the rest of the race.
Yeah, I was feeling good on like dry tires are the way to go. I was just 3 psi under.
Yeah, it's pretty much where I think most people were at.
And I was cooking my brakes through the formation lap, like deep orange into reds, just to try and get some core temp, and it was not enough. Not even close. Andy's pointed out, Braden, 3 psi was the rule of thumb for dry tyres in wet conditions, but now you just run wet tyres in any amount of rain, so that might be the difference.
Well, there you go. See, that's my problem. I'll take one detail and I'll just apply it to everything in my life.
But it might have been right, because I was down by about... That's wet. 80% of the time it works every time. It might have been the thing though, because I think a lot of drivers were around that kind of 25 psi on the dry tyres in damp conditions, and that's when they did need to go up the full 3. I went up by 0.3, which was not enough.
No, absolutely not.
There's a finer detail you're actually missing here, is that Scott Blair's gone faster than Senekas by 6 1,000ths.
Did you just notice
goodness
that?
Me.
He's on a good pace. Do need to grab, so let's go here. Let's find you some gains. So Reynolds, P3 at the moment, 2/10 up. He needs a full half second to contest Senekas, and he's got 1 chicane to do it in, so he needs an extra 2.5. Oh, Piper had wets at 28 psi.
Well, that's
he might make it.
Temperature.
He's close.
Nah. Could it be enough? No. Oh, that's close.
Yeah, Senekas unable to pip that top time as well, just on that last lap. Yeah. So will remain front of the grid, but in the runner-up position.
It's very, very tight. Atananaki here, half second.
That's a lot of gains. If you look at how close it is on the board, he's going to jump a number of spots. Possibly around P7, P8.
He was,
he's
but
lost all that time.
Yeah, he lost it all. That final chicane is... It's one of those really deceiving ones, especially in the wet. You think, I can just brake my normal braking. No, you can't.
Kitching, though. We did see, Braden, you pointed out he had that off earlier. Looks like he's gotten it back in. 8/10 gain. This is big jumps.
Yeah, this would be about P7, P8, I believe.
P7.
Yeah, here we go, P7.
Nice.
He's matched someone's time. He's matched Lamb's time.
There you go. Just checking out Madison. He's in the pits. Charlie Mitchell. I suspect he's not going to be able to complete that lap. And indeed we're not. Bender coming in a very respectable 27th. Just actually just got pipped by French just at the end. There, so we're back to some dry by the looks of things. We are indeed. So
very cool conditions. Track is fast. May switch over to optimum halfway through the race, but I think we might see some pretty quick lap times in this race.
yeah, I think you're right. Although I did notice everyone really, even doing dry practice, people are really struggling to get tyre temp in, even in dry conditions. So this might be one where people kind of really close up their brake ducts and try and get temp into the tyres. Because it is surprisingly challenging.
Shout out to our Jaguar drivers as well. We've got 3 Jags in the top 10. Being Zachary, James, Nichols and Thornton. Jags are killing it.
They've done themselves a good job. Now, can they hold it through the race? Probably. It's very difficult, as we've said, we're going to say a lot of times tonight, very difficult track to overtake on. Is there really... Am I missing anything? It's to me, it's turns 1 through 4 is your only opportunities, and even that is hard.
I mean, coming into the chicane, you have an opportunity to send it up on the inside, but that's really only realistic if the car ahead has gone slightly wide, maybe touch the sand on the exit. If they get a relatively good exit out of that corner, then you don't really have a chance to get them by the time you get to the chicane. Apart from that, yeah, maybe coming into turn 1, probably the best place to do it.
Yeah, the challenge is that it comes off that tight chicane. So it really kind of resets you. It's very difficult to go into that side by side. So you've got to make at least a full car's length down, honestly, a not very long straight to really challenge. So if someone wants to defend, they just hold the defensive line, they'll be okay. But maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a bullying overtake, but when you're on a track like this and there's not really many places to do it, you're not going to let them slide.
You got to look for it when you can. My other question is, do you know any other tracks where you can have all 4 wheels outside of the white line and that be okay more times than you can here?
Paul Ricard last week.
Ricard, yeah.
I believe you pointed out with those bollards on the exited corners.
That's true. Although even then, you only do that about 3 times in a lap. Here you do 4.
Also, Eau Rouge is another one where you can do it.
Just. This is... I think... I always get a chuckle out of Zolder because the chicanes get shown there's only the slightest amount of respect. Right, like, look where they bother in the pre-built kind of track wear map to say where the racing line is. Nah, we're doing another half car on the other side of that.
I mean, where there's extra track to use on this track, you're going to use it because the track is narrow and there are definitely spots where there is almost no track to use, especially through this back section in Sector 2. You got to keep it pinned if you want to get that lap time in, and if you run a little bit wide, there's no runoff area, there's no astroturf. It is dirt, it is sand, it is grass. You pay the ultimate price.
You're not wrong, and as some very, very good drivers have said, it is your job as a driver to find every bit of track that you're allowed to have.
Can someone explain to me what's going on here?
Gaps going on here.
I don't know what's going on. Who's taking the first one?
Yeah, look, I can take this one.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Go forth.
Also leading the way, Scotty Blair with the qualifying time that only just eclipsed Seneca's.
Green light, go, go, go.
As we go green, we've got the Audi at the back of Boats having a look on the outside. Seneca's on the outside. They've touched Scott, Blair and Seneca's. They keep it together. That was very close. 2 Jags side by side. Looks like Nichols has fallen behind. Gallo putting the attack on. We've got a Nissan on the inside who's just getting a little bit squiggly. That's a horrible place to try and rejoin the track. There's multiple cars on the inside there. You'll have to wait until the pack is gone. Pretty clean start so far. We're still going side by side on this back straight. There's going to be...
no.
Higgins at the back. That is the safety car. Safety car.
Yeah, big. Yep.
That's a lot to unfold.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues with this track. It's very narrow, and particularly there's no runoff. It is wall to wall. So as we just saw, a car got sideways and clogged to the track.
Merc in the wall, I think. Yeah, Merc touched the grass. I think the re-entry was a bit dodgy. Oh no, Porsche on Ferrari, Merc dead. Yeah. Yep. That. Nothing more to say, Chief.
Just a bowl of Skittles at that point.
What a bait and switch, because I think we were all eyes on that Merc. Like, surely it's him, right? Because we saw in the background there's a Merc
coming around. We saw
him
bin it, but it's a Ferrari on the Porsche. Wow, that's...
Yeah, but did the Ferrari get the willies from that rejoin of the Merc?
Well, that quite possibly.
Possible.
That's what we don't really know. That's all driver-based. And we don't have the drivers here to tell us how they were feeling, but... wow. It's not the best start, I'm going to say that now.
We got through the first section so cleanly, though. There was one off. There wasn't really a whole lot of
well, yeah, but technically we were still in the first sector at that point.
Yeah.
When the crash happened.
But you think by that time it's time to, like, slot in somewhere rather than keep attacking all the way down to the chicane.
That's what you'd think logically. But, you know, us sim racers, we don't have brains sometimes. And we just make these decisions.
No brains, just big balls, and it never pays off.
Yeah, exactly. Never pays off.
Yeah, I think, and it's been put in the chat, the Merc really did nothing wrong there. I think he was on the grass, but made sure that he re-entered cleanly, like didn't, so that anyone would see him, they'd have a good chance there, and just, that bit off to the side, kind of threw it all sideways, so...
Now, I've either never looked at the broadcast during a safety car, or is that a fresh little animation that we have on screen, the flashing safety car?
He's noticed it's new, yes. It's been there since round 1, but, you know, we'll gloss over that.
No, to be fair, normally when I'm commentating, it doesn't work, because I don't update it to make sure, and I've only just realised this week I need to.
So, and usually,
last week.
Usually I'm racing during our race, and the second race, I have to go to bed. I have to get my beauty sleep. Go to night-eyes.
That's fair, but no. I don't know who controls it. You'd have to ask Blair, who writes the wonderful utilities that sort this stuff out for us. So I can go pull up on there while we're doing this. AP Blue Championship Leaderboard. Does that pop up? No, it doesn't. Okay. Might do it for me. Current driver stats. Maybe I can't do it while I've got the safety car. The safety car's coming in. No, okay, my head-to-head stats aren't working, so we're just going to deal with it.
That's okay.
So we've got this restart. This one's yours, Hobbs.
Let's have a look now. Blair, on the restart, Sneakers there, just didn't quite get a good jump. Neither did James Gallo. Got the jump on Darwin there. Sneakers just later on the brakes into turn 1. Thornton, just that jag out at the front. Going to definitely have his work cut out for him with Sneakers and Blair in front, who we all know both have very good skills when it comes to sim racing. So he's got his teammate behind though, and there's a train of cars here just on board with Jonathan Jeffries at the moment. He's trying to chase down Jack McKay, who's got boats in front of him. This is where the front engine cars will catch up coming through this, there's no other word for it, garbage chicane. Just wait and see. Just watch the cars in front. Just look how much they gain on those mid-engine cars. Look, there's McKay going past boats now. Just see around the outside. It's going to have the inside into this second chicane though. And ooh, oh yeah, there's a tap. Yeah,
it's a bit of a Constantina effect. Bit of a
not
it just
again.
keeps going. Bit of a.
I thought that was going to be death. I really did.
Bumper traffic there, and the BMW and the Aston have come out second best.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was just enough racing room given there. Stewart to definitely have a look into that one. And now McKay is already back on and under pressure from Desai. He's going to have to go wide, and Desai's got his teammate Wood behind him. Oh, another tap. The Audis really just want to kill McKay this evening. I can't blame them. I can say that though because he's my mate, so just let that one go. All right, I'm allowed to say that.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's really close, but that chicane, as I said, that's the big game changer, I think, for the times between most cars. Is those front-ended cars just like what is chicane? That's basically what they're saying. But
Yeah, I haven't heard the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't heard the end of it with Saxon expressing how much he hates that you can just yeet over that chicane like it's barely part of the track.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even the track knows, because that chicane is called the Kleiner chicane, which, as I understand, is the small chicane. It's not a chicane, it's a straight line with bumps.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
If we watch Reynolds have a go in said straight line with bumps. Does actually keep it vaguely inside the track.
Yeah.
Should respect that. I did want to point out it, and we saw it, we kind of caught it. Reynolds did get a good run out of the final chicane, and that did let him jump an Audi coming into turn 1. So those are the kind of moves that, as a chasing driver, you need to watch out for. Up the front, Blair and JP are in a little bit of a race of their own at the moment, because you can look behind. Just in the background there from JP's view, there's a couple more cars, but they've really found themselves some space early. The question here is, if you're Senakis, do you try not to hold the both of you up and make sure you get a good gap to Thornton, or do you look for an opportunity, because when one comes, you need to be ready? There will not be many. What's your take?
Well, they've got 4.5. Senekis have got 4.5 to Thornton, so I think Senekis can afford to just put a little bit more pressure on Blair than usual, because he has that time, and there's Blair making a mistake over the chicane. He's got that buffer, so he can really just, like, he might stick his nose out here just to let Blair know. And he's going to wait, going to do the right thing. Don't tap Blair, that's going to be bad. But no, he's doing the right thing. It's now 4.6, so they are pulling away even though they are battling. It just shows, A, how good the cars are here, but B, how rubbish the Jag is. Even though it is front engine, it just doesn't have that straight line or cornering speed or whatever. I'm not the biggest fan about the Jag, so I'm sure someone else can tell me that it's rubbish in some way. But yeah, I don't know what the brakes are like in both these cars. I know what the brakes are like in the Ferrari. Don't know about around here though, but it looks like Senekis is just trying everything he can to just, well, I say that, Gallo's just gotten past Thornton, so now he's going to have quite a lot of clean air. I'm jealous of that Bentley through turn 1, but now this is where Senekis needs to realise, okay, I need to get past, or else Gallo does, I reckon, in my opinion, have the pace to get ahead. And there is JP's stats on the screen. Jamie's got it working.
That's it. Now, if you see that on your screen, that means you're watching the YouTube version and not the Discord one.
That's right. I have the chat up so I can see. You're going to have the stats up as well.
Just make sure we've all fallen for this, where we're not watching live. Let's jump back and try and pick out some of these other battles, though, because I think there's a lot going on. I'm spotting this little bit of a train here. Oh, and indeed, actually, in the background.
What's that going on at the back there? Who's this? It's Hemi Bateman. This is Sean Bubb now. Another mate of mine, so I can say what I want. Oh, he's really just holding Bateman up there. That's smart, just forcing the error. The BMW straight line speed, well, just, kiss goodbye. You're not going to get away from it on the straights, especially in the McLaren around here. The McLaren is very good in the corners. On the straights and the curbs, it's a no from me.
It's a real challenge here for Hemi Bateman, and with any driver. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a lapped Porsche. Can't quite tell you who that is because I can't see the number on the track map because there's 1,000 cars on it, but it's someone and it's a lapped car.
Right. I always thought that opened up an opportunity there because Bateman did take a look around the outside. But here's the key: at this track, you must be right on top of the car behind, the car in front, in that final chicane if you want to have any hopes here.
Oh, Hemi Bateman. I think Bub now was just a little bit nice there, but didn't want the incident to occur. I think that's probably not the worst decision he could have made, but he's lost 2 positions out of it because Nichols took full advantage, and now Reynolds is going to come through. It's forcing Bub now out wide. I think He's going to get that done pretty easily. Yep, there it is. Bub now just letting Reynolds go, knowing he doesn't have the pace to keep up. That's smart now. He can just get right into the slipstream. Just try and pull away from Keane behind.
Yeah, very tough if you just take to that racing line and someone's willing to be more aggressive on brakes into turn 1. So you see there, not only can you lose the position, but you can get stranded on the outside as a second driver. Player 3 enters the game.
Yeah, obviously much better to play it safe than buried down in the pack, because you didn't play it safe and you spun around. Yes, it could possibly be the car that's overtaking's fault and they can get penalised, but it doesn't really mean much when you've just lost 10 positions.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. 10 positions is not that hard to lose here. Indeed, a single, slight trip into a little bit of gravel and 10 positions very, very quickly down the drain. With this many cars in particular, 38 drivers, and that's minus. Who was it that dropped out? Sean Madison was having internet connection issues and got disconnected. So hopefully he makes it back in for the next race, which is a 40-minute endeavour. So should be some fun there. We are watching boats. Let's get a view of how well this Audi can handle these curves in the only way that I know how. Great angle there.
Well,
The
that's
chassis
how
really
you got to
kicked
do
it
it,
out.
unfortunately. Being an Audi driver myself, I know that it's quite painful. I do actually hit that first curb a little bit more than Boats does, but probably was my downfall last night. But it's better to play it safe and just avoid the most of that first curb in case something goes wrong. But doing good. Haven't quite seen what his times were. We'll see that when he crosses the line, but he's keeping up with Jeffries though. Darwin is ahead, and then Lamb's got a 10-second ahead, and Neil Wood's just gotten a drive-through. I'm going to assume that must be for track penalties, track warnings, limit warnings. I can't speak.
So there's those who say that there are no track limits here, but they do
Well,
indeed
there are.
exist.
They do.
Dylan asking.
Yeah, I
what
mean, you can cut a few of these corners quite a bit, but there is a fine line between not getting the track limits, and then when you do get track limits, it's a warning. It's not just a no time gained. So I suppose there's that. There is a lot of cutting, but there is punishment involved if you abuse it a little too much.
Yeah, that's right. Especially for Jeffries there, just getting that rear end of the Lamborghini sideways. Coming up to one of those areas where you can get those track warnings, or just forcing Boats to brake early. If you hit too much of the second part of the curb, go over it on all fours. There's an instant warning there. I know I did get one there. And this second chicane as well. If you just take too much of either the first curb or the second, there's another warning for you. So they're the main two places, and I'm sure at the final chicane, the final corners, you can probably get a warning there too.
I think the thing that probably really gets me here, it's the contrast, because I think some of these track limits and the way the curbs and the gravel and it all interplays are really, really good. Right, so as we watch through here, this curb here, if you run a bit too wide, it costs you. It doesn't kill you, but it costs you.
It does.
Right, so there's an art form to this. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4, all actually really, really nice. In particular, turn 4 coming onto the back straight. If you just dip a wheel into the gravel, it costs you a half-tenth, maybe a full half-second.
Yeah,
but it's not catastrophic.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things where you'd rather risk hitting the dirt than potentially losing it round turn 4. Not that it's likely in this scenario, but if it's a wet race later on, hope they didn't just jinx it. Sorry, everybody. But if it's wet and you're going to go wide, you'd rather hit the dirt than power and die.
Yeah, I love when tracks let you kind of flirt with the edges, and you get that bit of a feedback when you've gone just a bit too much, and you can start to learn and adapt for that. And so for the majority of the sectors of this track where you are pushing the edges, it's really, really good. It's here where you see cars just not even just like get close to ignoring it. It is completely ignored in terms of what's on the track and what the actual track limits are. They're just don't really correlate that well together. So it's that juxtaposition that I find interesting, I suppose.
Have you been reading a dictionary lately?
I will have you know that I have quite a good vocabulary. Thank you very much.
No,
I love
just
words
'cause
like
you're an old
juxtaposition.
man.
I mean, compared to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Compared to a fair chunk of us.
I'm a
Juxtaposition.
big fan of words like inauspicious and gazumping.
Ooh, I really like dissonance. Like cognitive dissonance. Cognitive
It's just a
dissonance.
funny way of saying distance.
It's
As I look out in the dissonance.
Welcome to Countdown here on Octane Online Racing.
dear. Oh dear.
Anyway, we're coming into the closing stages of this race. We're looking.
We are.
Is
there another word for
three laps
closing?
to go?
Let's jump up here and let me
Shutting. Come to the shutting stages of this race.
Thank you. That doesn't work.
Let's open up the head-to-head stats on the stream so people can view. Now I've got to go find some more window space. The many monitors that I've got open here to try and figure out what that actually says because I can't read it. Here we go. So this is P5 and P6 in the championship, split by only 4 points, as you can see. And right now they are split by half a second, but it is Blair to the good, and that means that he'll go just that extra bit ahead. But this battle matters.
As you can see that just looking at that pole stat, Scott Blair 1 pole, JP 0 poles. Is that this race only? Was JP denied 6,000th of his first pole?
I think this
yeah,
is prior. I don't think these stats have been updated for
I'm
the
pretty sure
current.
this is prior.
Still denied. Sorry, JP.
Alex would like to say hello to Hobbsy and Hobbsy only. So that's,
Oh,
I mean, a little
hi,
bit
Alex,
hurtful.
Part. It's okay. No, it's one young person to another. We young people speak as one.
You kids and your on fleek or I don't know.
Yeah, and your words like savage and whatnot. So hip.
Oh dear, Sneakers, he got up there. But would have been optimistic to try and make a move into what's that? Start of Turleman, which is the turn 7 complex apparently. Where's she going with it? Oh, he's getting punchy.
He's pushing very hard. We're going to be only seeing 1 lap to go on this race. I can't imagine what kind of dance his eyes are doing at the moment. He'll be looking at Delta. He'll be looking at the clock above. He'll be looking at braking points. He'll be looking at Scott Blair. He'll be looking at apexes. His eyes will be all over the place right now, just trying to get this done.
He could be looking at our commentary box for all we know. We don't even know.
I can't hope he had at least half eye on that because that's where it's at.
Yeah, look, it's just he's got 1 lap. I think he's going to go for an all or nothing approach. But we do know from previous races that Scott Blair can deal with pressure. As we can see, Sneakers, just those little braking point mistakes, it's cost him. Oh, we won't know until the sector times come up, but I dare say that's probably 2 tenths or so, 3 tenths. I was close.
This is where he makes it all back up.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's actually revolting.
Just vomited a little bit in my mouth there watching that.
Yeah. Just have to. He's gonna. Oh, he's late on the brakes too. He's gonna give that Bentley everything it's got.
Laps traffic ahead as well. This may play into Scott Blair's hands, just taking away one of them overtaking opportunities.
He's gonna move to the outside. He doesn't. But he might have moved to the outside there just to try and get that pressure on the Nissan nose.
Yeah, he's gone to the outside of the track.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Outside of the track, yeah. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough, unfortunately, for Stanikis.
It's coming into the final exchange of corners.
Oh,
the left
he
and the
almost
right
had no,
hander.
too much curb. I say that in the Bentley. There's not. There's never too much curb, is there?
Yeah, he didn't get it done in the end, but hats off. That was a battle well fought.
Very well done. Let me try and catch down and see if there's any others before they cross the line. So here we've got Kitching just top of the screen in the Lamborghini, Darwin in the BMW, and just behind them is Villanova, McLaughlin. also in that little play, and no, Nichols is a bit too far
You're
behind.
talking about Villanueva, not Villanueva. We had this
Just had
argument. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
don't even.
It's not,
I feel like
it's
we should
not
just come
sort
up with nicknames for some of these guys, like the villain.
Yeah, look, yeah.
potentially.
I think that's what Jamie wants,
I mean,
so he doesn't get caned every week for mispronouncing last names.
Neil Wood.
here's a good one right to the
Wood.
end. Anthony
Oh,
on
that's a
Ferguson.
fine margin. Someone go get a nice screenshot of that.
I actually want to. I'm going to go back.
That'll be
and try and catch
tight.
that. Oh, okay, that's how that's.
Oh,
that's how that's
whoa! What was?
happened. Like,
Post-race penalty.
how has this happened? And that's how it's happened. Now we only saw just the end, so I have no idea how that incident started. Who's at fault? But stewards will add to their tally to check out.
It does look like the McLaren just pipped the Porsche in the end. So congratulations to Scotty Blair for taking out the win in race 1, closely followed by JP. And then I believe it was Gallo who filled the 3rd spot on the podium.
Yeah, that was it. Well played race there from both JP and Blair, but what's going on here, Jamie? There we go. I was going to say.
It's ACC that isn't sure what's going on. So for those who aren't familiar, the top 12 from that race will start next race in a reverse order of that top 12. Everyone else can go out and do another qualifying, and that will set their positions P13 downwards for race 2, which is a 40-minute race. Track conditions fast, 18 degrees ambient with 28 on the track, which is feels a bit backwards. Normally it's
23 on track.
Oh, 18 ambient. Yes, it feels backwards because I said it backwards. That would explain that. But yes, well done to Scout there for picking up a win. Will help bank a few more points in the championship. So maybe actually I can pull up the championship leaderboard now. I can. Means I need to make my screen bigger to actually see what it says. There we go. So Brits, who I don't think I've seen here tonight.
No, I think
I
he
have
must
not.
be away this week, unfortunately. And
And
so
Mc-
is McCourt as well.
Yeah, so that's going to throw a big spanner in the works. Ashland Reynolds was in, I believe. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I think he finished about 11th, if this is correct.
Well, no, he's out on track setting a lap at the moment, so he must have fallen out of that top 12.
There you go. And, oh, like what just happened. Okay, it moved on to page 2. So you can see quite a lot of drivers in this split. But yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of a mix-up with some of the front runners out. See a fair few shuffles for next week. A couple of drivers looking to get their name on the board.
Yeah, particularly Zachary James. We do know that that man has some pace, so he's got a bit of work to do to climb up the leaderboard there. Even Art Vanderlei, we usually see a little higher up the championship chart.
Yeah, Hemi Bateman I saw as well. Got a bit more room to go. So we'll see what happens there. So, first out on track to complete a lap, I think. Who's that? It's Van Vliet? Van Vliet? Vliet?
Van
Vliet. Van Vliet.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah, you,
I
yeah.
guess so.
I think we've all overthunk it at least once.
Overthunk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't... People hear what we're saying, right? I don't think they accuse us of thinking too hard. Using too much brain. Maybe that's
Never
just
use
me.
too much brain.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's just me that uses too much brain.
No, I'm saying we wouldn't be accused of it.
Sucks over here.
We wouldn't be accused of it. I'm saying I'm dumb. That's what
If
I.
you're
That's
such
what
a
I.
big brain, Jamie, show us how to use the free cam.
Okay, hang on. I think Alt is involved.
Yeah, Alt F4 I believe does it.
Oh. Right.
Yeah,
I would feel so bad if he actually did it, because that's a headache for more than just one person.
yeah, it's a headache for, hang on, 78, 79, 81 people.
This is what you get for this attitude.
Calls about 3 headaches for Molly.
I'm going to start pulling up though, and we're going to go get some...
Oh, Van Vliet gets a little bit wiggly on the exit and just lost it. Yeah, that's Porsche things, isn't it?
He kept it together though.
Porsche things, that's why the team name Tank Slappers is extremely accurate.
I'll tell you what he'll be worried about, and that is if he can't go fast enough, he's going to have to let the car behind him through, which is Michael Mann's, and lose his super clear track position, which is nice and important here. So even though his lap is scrubbed... Oh, no, it's not invalidated. It's still a valid lap, so he does not need to give up any space, and his free track ahead is his to have. Let's have a look, though. Michael Lamb has made big gains by ignoring Matthew Lambs. Has made big gains by avoiding some of the track, but Ashton Reynolds has stayed within the limits, and he's 1.2 seconds up on his current time.
Yeah, I was looking at that top time, mid 129, and there is absolutely faster times capable.
No way that's going to stand. No way.
Gets a run through there from car number 6. It's McNulty. Gives him a bit of space. A former Nissan driver.
No way.
Being a perfect gentleman there. 128.2 by Reynolds for P1. Roldan here is on a good stint himself. 6/10 up on his previous, currently in P10. Make that 7. Some brake markers have been taken out though. That's going to make it tricky for some drivers coming through. It looks like he's gained a 10.5 or thereabouts in through turn 8. Easy to gain the time at the start by just braking really late, but he's just judged it slightly better than his previous lap, which is good work.
Yeah, I think these are massive delta gains are due to the first outing is usually a pretty crowded track. So you are absolutely in banker game, get a banker on the board, get some delta on the board for the next lap. 1.6 seconds as we see Wood jumps up to P19.
Jack Mackay, he's a half second up already.
Joe Mackay, are you silly?
I said Jack.
Are you kidding me?
Think of Mr. Mackey. It's easy, okay?
He said Joe, didn't he, Braden? I'm not
I
going to
said Jack. I'm sure I said Jack. I know it's Jack.
Isn't it Jay? Like Homer J. Simpson? My middle name is Jay.
Oh dear. I'm moving on from this slanderous accusations. I said Joe. There was no...
6/10 up though, it's good. Let's see if he can slid through there, but can hit all that curb. He's going to lose time on the exit though because final chicane is bad. Let's see where this puts him. P2. Very good one. Very, very nice one. Oh, Reynolds has gone faster.
Yes, sitting on it. So he's well clear of the drivers behind, but that is nothing to get comfortable on, as we saw in the last qualifying session. Tanekas was sitting pretty high up, and then Blair came along and disappointed him.
Scott Blair.
Ah, Blair. It's French.
It's Bender.
He's up.
Surely put us in Bender cam. Yeah. Oh, that. Okay, I decided I don't like that front end anymore.
It's the Stingray. It's the Stingray.
Oh, that rear end, that Merc does not look stable, and he's running 5TC. And he's still 4/10 up though. That was way too late on the brakes. What is that, Bender? Oh, please.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's still up. Look at those games. It's skyrocketing.
Excuse me? I mean, I don't want to bag people out. How's he done that?
He's found another level.
I mean, I was going to say, the only thing is he must have just done it worse the last time around.
Yeah,
It's probably glad we didn't see that one.
Yeah, he must have. Let's see where this puts him. 17.
P17.
Lap, and that's it. Qualifying over.
So who's still out there on some gains? I'm just flicking through my list. Lachlan Nichols, very small gain indeed. He's lost it as soon as we've had a look. Charlie Mitchell, though, looks like he hasn't quite gotten the laps that he's want, but this one is a fair bit better. He's 1.2 up. 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 1.2
Is that going to put him mid-teens? Yep, 16.
16. Be a bit happier with that. He's in the pits. Sasana's just crossing now for another 10th gain. Won't jump in.
Could he get it up a position? No. So close though. Roldan, 10th and a bit up. That'll get him 1 position. Very good.
It's nothing to sniff at.
Look how close. P11 to... Wow, you've ruined it now.
I ruined a lot of things.
P11 to like 15. It was like within a 10th. It's very good racing. Van Vliet is 2 tenths up. This would get him... Oh, no, never mind. Just ignore me.
He needs a 10th and a half or thereabouts. Touch over that.
See if it can be gained. Oh, good gain.
Potential.
Yeah, squeezed a little bit out of those last 2 corners.
It's going to be
Not quite.
not even a 10. Not even going to get another position. That's unfortunate. So close though. Madison is back though. With after the internet issues, P7 for him. Reynolds though on top.
Yeah,
That's
we've got another
time.
matched qualifying time. Desai and Lewis both set the same qualifying time.
Some very nice work. Looks like it will be a dry race here. So as you can see, just overcast for the next 30 minutes. 18 degrees ambient, 24 on the track. No, other way around. Wait, no, 18 ambient, track 24.
It does say the word track.
Yeah,
It does, right. No, okay, yeah, but it does still seem backwards. Why is the ambient so cold and the track so hot? Is it?
Can we get a psych review for Jamie?
No, but normally the track isn't that 6 degrees.
I believe it is. I believe track is always a little bit warmer.
The track's always warmer until you're getting down to those past 8, 9 o'clock at night. Yeah, usually the same, but track's usually hotter.
Yeah,
I think a bit of moisture in the air would cause cooler track temperatures as well.
Oh, here comes Mr. Meteorologist.
That's fair. All right, well, the order that you see on screen will not be the order they'll actually start the race in, though. So just keep that in mind. Reynolds will start in P13, Lamb 14, so on and so forth. And the top 12 from the previous race will all slot in front of them. So now we're back up to 39 drivers, plus 1 safety car here.
Possible there's been a bit of a mix-up there because Ashland Reynolds was out doing laps for that. Oh, no, sorry. It's still in order of the qualifying we just had.
Yeah, that's
still got a top 12 to send out. My apologies.
Safety car just starting to bake it up at turn 2 as the stewards just call out the race order, get everyone sorted out. See a Jag on pole. It's gonna be a thing.
Can we find out who that is?
We can. It is
Laurie.
Is it? It is.
Oi, big Laurie, big man. Disinformation. Very good man.
Looking to get some very valuable points for the start of his start of this season. He's still sitting all the way down the bottom. I don't think he scored a point this season yet.
Look at the man. He is thrilled.
Yeah, he is absolutely jumping for joy. Have a look at the emotion on his face.
His fingers are just rigid with excitement. They don't flex like a normal human, do they?
Kind of looks like he's only steering with the webbing between his pointer and thumb.
His pinky is very long. I'm just looking
on,
at my hand. I'm like, hang on.
That's not. Are these drivers all aliens from an outer space planet that his pinky finger is the same length as his as his third finger, if you want to not count the thumb as a finger.
It is. It's not even joints, like the knuckles are bending.
No, it's like his fingers are nearly all the same length. What is going on?
I assume that's all drivers do that. We can't see because that's a Bentley. Yep, they just...
Yeah, they're all just abnormal. Is this Andy O'Hara's secret?
I don't.
What's your secret to being fast, dude? Super long pinkies.
long fingers. This is the commentary that you only get on a Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
It's just a
Wednesday night just bagging out Mullock the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, Bender as well. As soon as Bender wants to
Bender. Yeah.
wants to excite the world with a fun fact, Mullock always just gives him a bit of a hard time about it. But in Mullock's defense, a lot of the time Bender's facts aren't very fun.
No, they're not. Now, what is going on with the grid here? Again, this is an absolute catastrophe. What?
Just figuring out. It is a tricky one to get into grid position for, to be fair. We were talking about this earlier.
There we go. I think
There we
they've
go.
sorted it out now.
We've got a bit of extra time here as well because that start initialization won't happen until Scott Blair goes past in 13th position.
Yep, but now it's even better to call. Which is going to be a lot of fun for me because it's me. And I usually cause incidents. Here we go. 3 wide already into turn 1. Oh, not a... yeah, see what I mean? This is just rigged. What is this bullshit? Someone's been tapped around as soon as I call the throw on the inside. That must be Gallo. Gotten a good start. Laurie's still in front out there. That's Kitching, I think, behind. Jeffrey's there just sneaking behind Boats as well. That Bentley tap run was Villanueva. This is Zach James now. Guessing that must be Gallo. I like the... Yeah, alright. This is just... Yeah, it is Gallo. That's good. What is going on to the chicane here?
It's a little bit of punch.
backing up of cars. Oh, that Ferrari just ate so much of that curb. Not seeing anything worth the safety car yet, though, so I haven't cursed it just yet, which is good. Oh, the Jag going for the dive. Oh, there's a Bentley off there. Who's that? I'm on board with Votler. And there's...
I think that was
Bentley of
Sudeikis.
JP, I believe.
Is that JP? Oh, no, that's not what you love to see. But back on track now. Already starting to have those gaps form. Oh, Jag forced wide. That's Thornton, I do believe. And a BMW forced wide as well. This is much cleaner than race 1, but it's much more hectic. I never thought I'd say that in a sentence, but I just did. It's a Honda now of Roldan. Oh, that Audi, that's Desai. Just look to the inside there. Roldan keeping it clean. Driving that Honda to its full extent, I think. Side now, you see those gaps already forming. There's at least a gap between Darwin and Madison already 1.1. That's probably the biggest gap at the moment as far as we can see.
Yeah, definitely an interesting start there. So a couple of drivers did suffer, but not too horribly. Villanueva, as you say, is probably the biggest loser there, going from 2nd to 23rd.
That's a lot. That's 21 if my maths is correct.
Hey, that sounds about right. Sudeikis did lose a few positions, but he is now in P12,
Ooh,
which is only one down on where he
Is that
started.
Sudeikis there that's having a bit of a moment there? Is that Lewis? It
No,
might be
that's
Lewis,
Steve Lewis.
actually. Steve Lewis. Okay.
He's
At the
all right.
moment there, 2
Yeah,
Porsches in
JP's
front.
better
Oh,
than that.
Ooh, I think Darwin's actually made a mistake because on the graphic at the moment, on the relative at the moment, Darwin was ahead of both those Porsches, so it looks like there's been a mistake made. It's not what you love to see. Yeah, Nichols is ahead too. Whoa, what's that Jag doing? Holy, ooh, could have been an incident there. That's Nichols. I think there's a bit of a problem there. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Oh, that bonnet.
Oh, he's
Looks
put
like
in the
there's a bit
wall.
of
That
a
does
problem.
not look good. Can we go back? Well, too late now.
No.
Yeah, that tells me that he's possibly run wide coming
Get
into
it.
that back section and
Yeah,
just
keep
hasn't
it
been
there,
able to collect the car.
possibly. Oh, the Nissan. Oh, no. Who was that? That might have been Madison, I'd say.
It's a good catch off the wall at the very least.
Yeah.
It could be. I think it is Madison that he got a little bit of a tangle with. So 360 no scope, but has kept it going.
Cue the obnoxious horn.
Oh, so see car 74. That's Laurie McLaughlin.
No,
He's not where you wanna
Laurie
be.
was in P1. Wow, I don't know. We couldn't really tell. Let's see what happened.
So he's got
He
a
wasn't
challenge
in
here.
P1, but
It's Jonathan
see.
Jeffries getting
Is that
past
the
the thing. Bruno
Ferrari?
Gallo behind.
is that Gallo there? Oh, the Ferrari. Ooh. Bit unusual. Nissan. Not a Jag tap. No,
Oh.
no. That's Thornton. Oh,
It's
dear.
Zach James.
Oh, well, they had a 50-50. It's James then.
Yeah, we got a good glimpse of the number 57, and there's so little in it, but yeah, stewards are gonna try and figure that one out. Roll down. Also,
Oh,
all right,
Roldan.
let's go back.
Don't put it in the wall.
Oh.
Let's have a look. Just looks like may have locked up possibly or had a bit of a tap there from the Bentley of, I'm going to hazard a guess, say that's Lewis. Let's have a look and see. Bentley did get a better run. Smelling a tap, maybe was a bit late. Yeah. Oh, tapped the Audi. That's his own fault, unfortunately. Went too late on the brakes. As the stewards say otherwise.
Yeah,
That's
maybe having a half think about it and kind of committed to a line that he couldn't really pull up. So, fortunately,
last.
fortunately, he hasn't really disrupted the car
Oh
ahead.
no, Gutierrez, what has happened there, mate?
It's not ideal.
that
I think that was
Gutierrez
Neil
or was
Wood,
that-
actually. Neil
Yeah, it
Wood.
I
would've
was in
been
New
Wood.
Wood. Damn. Oh, I didn't see him on the. I'm blind. Ignore me.
It's all right. It's all right.
We-
I wouldn't
we can't all
accuse
be
you of the things you would accuse me of, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's yeah. Let's just see. Shafley though. And no, it's not Scafely, Saxon. Don't go there. Oh, they're looking for that 3 wide. That BMW. It looks like it's Hemi Bateman. Oh, going to
3
get
wide
round
to the chest.
Nichols.
That's
That is
dangerous.
dangerous, but I think Hemi Bateman could have gotten that done. That's Keen, I do believe. It is. And Hemi Bateman's gotten that done. That is a very good move indeed. This is Mitchell now. Oh, Nichols is going to look. Oh, Nichols is defending that inside really hard, but knows. Oh, that's a. Whoa. Oh, there's a Honda Brown too. Is that who's that?
That'll be the villain.
Is that Mans,
Like
Michael
Mans.
Mans.
Oh man, it's not the villain. The man.
Unfortunate. The villain drives a Bentley. That's the first problem.
Oh, yes, so he does.
Yeah, but Kitching, P1 at the moment, there is still 33 minutes and 48 seconds to go, but he's got a 4.1 second lead out there on boats. This is Robert Shaw around the outside of Sneakers. Looks like he's struggling a little bit, Sneakers. Haven't seen what his lap times are like, but...
I think we may have just had a bit of a nasty incident in the exit of the hairpin. If we're able to quickly jump back and see
Yeah,
what
4, 5, 6.
transpired there.
That might be Mans.
456.
Wrong
I'm
date.
just trying to find the car numbers. 426?
No, 4, 5, 6.
456. Ah, Jack Mackay.
Oh, Jack McKay, what's happened?
Oh,
Oh, incident with the Porsche. Or a Porsche was involved, we'll say. That
So-
is not good. Not much damage, though, which is good. He can try and make that time up. There is a lot of time, though, between himself and the next car. So, oh, there's damage on the rear, though.
Front looks okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't quite catch it in time. It's too many cars to find all
That's
the
right.
incidents.
Yeah, it's all right. We can't expect everything from you, Jamie. Well,
Can't
the one thing we can expect is probably chase cam within the streams at some point.
Just
Oh,
sorry,
Go on.
just
No,
a
no, you-
side note, Jamie. I think there is a setting where you can change how far back you can go. I think you can bump it up to 30 seconds.
So so with the neat little utility that I have, that Brad Coe wrote, I can go 10, 15, 20, 30 or a minute. And at that point I picked 30 seconds as the guess. So when there's an incident, I have to guess how far back in time I want to see and find them within that window.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured you were perhaps governed by something else that wasn't just in-game related.
Yeah, I probably should have picked a minute, but a minute seems like a long time to go back as well sometimes. So
Look, it is.
we try. Either way, take a note if there's some quiet time between this and the next race, we might be able to try and find it. So for the moment, who's that in the background? That's Ferguson with Sassana right behind him. Some
that's
interesting scraps.
Excuse me. It's a close battle, but I'm more interested in that train up ahead. Those gaps are looking pretty tight. Ferguson looks like may just keep himself in front of Sassana. What is this train? That's Lamb there just in the middle of it. That's Scotty Blair just there behind Sneakers. Just looking for a move. That's Robert Shaw ahead of Sneakers, and then Zach James ahead of Robert Shaw. Jeffries, though, have a look at him, P4 in that Lamborghini. He's doing very well. Very talented driver, JJ is. He's come from the rookies as well. Came from driving the Aston, I do believe. So went for a change as well as some other rookies did. Looks like could be paying off. Reynolds is trying to put the pressure on Boats. I think if Reynolds can get past may be able to slowly close that 6.5-second gap to Kitching, but they're losing a lot of time by battling at the moment. That Nissan is looking good on the exit. The Audi's pretty good on some exits too. Keyword, there's some.
Yeah, very
Reynolds
interesting.
really showing the nose Reynolds really showing the nose everywhere he can.
What's
He's
happening
trying
there?
to force boats into a bit of a mistake.
Oh, Reynolds got past, I think.
Yeah, he's found the
Let him
opportunity.
have that.
Yeah, I think he just decided not to hold himself up any further and let it happen rather than get into much of a fight, as he's seen Jeffries close up a huge amount through the last sector, and we'll see these sector times roll through in just a moment.
So let's see how much time they lost from the battle. It was 6.5. Keep in mind, it's 8.1 now. That's just what the battling does. So Reynolds has got a lot of work ahead. If you just see Ferguson there's getting a penalty, I don't think that'll be just a 5. I'm sure there'll probably be more to be added there in a minute. But Reynolds, you know, he's a pacey driver, but 8.1 in half an hour, it's doable, but consistency is going to be key, and we do know that Kitching is a very consistent driver, knows how to wheel that Lambo, so I think we're in for a good one. Still that 8.1, so now that Reynolds is in that clean air, I'm interested to see what the times will be over the next half an hour with Reynolds and whether that gap can be closed to Kitching.
It's a good point in terms of lap times. I'm just looking. Kitching last lap 128.8. Ashton Reynolds 130.4 was his last lap. Now he did need to make an overtake in that, so maybe this lap he'll be able to pick up the pace and start to close the gap. But it is a long gap. That is that's going to be a tricky one for sure. Might come back to it in a moment and see if this little splice train turns into something a little bit more. There's a bunch of very punchy drivers here who will be looking to start to force the issue a touch, I suspect. Matthew Lamb getting a little bit loose in the rotation there, coming out of the second chicane through the hills of Turleman. Oh, it looked like Madison just struggling a tiny bit with the car rotation out of that hairpin. Still able to keep the gap, and indeed he almost opened it up a little bit more to Lamb, even with that twitch. So we're going to have a look at this though. This is Blair looking to get the run on Robert Shaw. A little bit of a sneaky undercut. Blair sees it all in his mind's eye. A tiny bit of a touch.
Really good move. JP trying to seize the opportunity as well, but wasn't quite there. He's going to have to be a little more patient than that. I think Blair and Sonikas might not be doing a whole lot of battling right now. I think they're just trying to cut their way through the field and get a little bit closer to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is not what I expected to come back to.
Whoa!
What?
Not Sean.
What has happened here? Oh, he's...
And Kisko by the rear end to snap oversteer. Whoa, it's not a Porsche when I last remember.
Yeah, maybe brake just a little bit too far backwards on the brake bias and kind of locked the rears a tiny bit as well. That's kind of kicked the car out of balance. Fortunately, the way it's hit won't have done too much damage. I think he'll avoid any suspension impact. Car 426 I can see is off though. That's Hemi Bateman. Let's take a look at this one as well. Now the trees will obscure where I think the issue is, so I'm going to go through this view. So he's getting a half run here on that.
Whoa!
Oh.
What the hell?
Yeah, hard to tell what even happened there.
Yeah.
Is that mechanical? As in at his
It
end?
could just be a BMW thing, honestly. Hemi Bateman to come out 26 now. So
Car's
it's
looking
not really
fine.
what you want. Steering looks okay. There's definitely going to be damage there. I dare say 10, 15 seconds maybe.
I'm
So he's
going
going to have to nurse that car home, I dare say.
I'm going to throw the suspicion that he's reaching for a drink and pulled the car to the left.
No, he's going to... Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to say
I think
mechanical
he's-
issue,
I'm
yeah.
going to say it might be a mechanical issue, yeah. That's That's not. Ooh, I think he's going to have to stop. That's... Wow.
It's hard to tell if that's an intentional, I'm done with this car, I'll put it into a wall, or not.
Oh, there's a jag pitting as well. It looks like it's Nichols, so...
Yeah, Nichols has had a gutful of the damage on that car, and he's thought, I'll just bring it in and try and make the best of a bad situation. Also, Reynolds definitely breaking down that margin. He's found a second and a half since we were looking about 5 minutes ago. Previous lap was a 28.3, whereas Kitching was a 29.2, so that's 9/10 the difference.
Yeah. A good point as well by Princey, I forgot about it. There's just that little bit of a crest of a hill as they come through between the clone chicane as you sweep down to the left. And I'm sure you guys will have had it in practice now that you think about it, or at least I know I did now that I think about it. Occasionally, if you've just got a little bit too much steering on there, car gets light and you will kick it around to the side. Maybe that's what's happened. You know what I mean, or am I delusional? Is it just me and Prince?
No, I do what you mean. Yeah, there's just I suppose it's a loss of downforce for a moment, and if you force the car to make a move that it's like anything other than going in a straight line there, then I suppose that lack of downforce can make it very light on the tyres and lose either the front or the rear.
So we saw Vottila lost the rear at turn 3 just a touch, and it almost gave Thornton an opportunity. He tried, and I don't think he's done trying. He's going to go around the outside, but no, it's too many meters, as they say. That's the tip. Diebol,
it's a very
deceptive P4, B5.
Very deceptive corner trying to go for an overtake around the outside there, because you feel like you get such a good run, but as soon as that sweeping left-hander is over, you've got that really tight chicane where you have to brake a little bit earlier than you think, and you don't want to send two cars into that chicane at the same time. You want it to be resolved by the time you get there, otherwise you're going to have a bad time.
That's it. Stu Smith saying it takes a lot of skill to lose it there unless you ran over the grass, and I think he's talking about that hill bit. Well, I have that skill. I put it in the wall there once in practice. It was in practice though, it wasn't in the real race. I put it into other walls in the real race.
So you did it when there was no pressure or distractions around you whatsoever?
Let's just say the car gets light, and yeah, if you have, I think it's more prominent at the crests coming down from between turns 7 and 8. So I'll point out what I'm talking about when we get to it, but it's about half a lap away. That one I'm sure surely has caught more people.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I do. It seems like the ideal line is nice and close to the inside using the curb, but unfortunately it is a bit of a blind corner, so it's hard to really line that up. I do know what you're talking about. I did the same thing in a practice session.
There's a few ones that maybe you don't think about until you really experience it, but it's right here. Because the car, it is turning around to the left, and if you just have just a bit too much steering lock as the car goes light, it's two different cars that just had offs. I saw one of them, I think
they both teleported to the pits as well. There was car 60 was one of them.
The one I think is Sasana. No, it's not. Although he's half having a moment. Car 60 I can't even find. I think he might have put no. That's Sean Madison, who I think has had a connection issue because I cannot click on him to go view him. So I think he might have had a disconnection moment. Car 40 was the other. There you go. It's just eyeballs. Yeah, Madison Internet died again. Is the tip. It's unfortunate. Meanwhile, we're looking at James up ahead. He's in P4. Got the helicam centered on Jeffries though, to get the widest field of view and try and get some more context behind them. Blair and Sanikas find themselves together once more.
All aboard the don't
close.
punt the Jag train.
Yeah, Jeffries showing that he can avoid the punt. I'll tell you what, as we come through here, I'm going to jump into my chase cam. Here's a corner that's caught me out. This first right on the chicane, cut too deep onto there, and you can absolutely pirouette the car. Just the front right will grab in the, because it's a real dip if you go too far in.
There is.
And I have 360s out straight into the wall a few times in practice actually.
Yeah, there might be a couple of cars that can get away with it, but yeah, you and I being the BMW drivers, we've definitely experienced some very similar quirks about the track.
That's it. Been pointed out, James is carrying quite a fair bit of damage, trying to make it through. Wait, Zach James? Wheels facing
Yes,
straight.
that's who they're talking about.
Oh, because someone else, Oliver, had a whole bunch of damage as well. So no steering input issues.
And there's a Merc off the track.
There is indeed. Who was that? They've teleported to pits, I think. Is that the 666 car? Couldn't quite tell.
Or is that
six at
the
end.
single, possibly the single 6 car of David McFulty?
No,
he's
it's
still
not
rolling,
David
he's fine.
McFulty.
Not this time. No, I think it... Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it may have just quit, actually.
It's been a few technical issues tonight. So... Sure. While we looked away, though, Jeffries has lost 2 positions. And now has a Blair and Sneakers between him and the Jag that he was pursuing of James.
Yeah, that's the Lambo for you. Lambo, not good car. But, you know, there's drivers... Well, I say that, and it's in P1, and Kitching's doing a brilliant job. But just got to find the right track. Someone... DT, drive-through for car 12, causing a collision. Who is car 12? Good sir, Jamie.
Car 12, for some reason I'm looking for P12, so that'll be Simon French. And then P30, his day's not getting any better.
No, that's not a good day in the office.
Blair, thinking about sizing that one up instead, just goes for the tighter turn that he manages to get each time out of turn 1, and then set himself up for about a turn 2, 3. Sneakers keeping him honest, but he's committing to it. Keep that tighter line. Know that you can hold
James
it.
nearly went to the grass. That was close, but Blair does get through. So there is P4 for Blair. Oh,
As Lamborghini Jeffries just gets a little bit squiggly on the exit there. I think maybe a bit of aero played a role in that.
I've got no words. That's just Lamp.
Oh, he's had
Oh
to
yeah,
let
just
off.
slam the brakes. No, yeah, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, just a little
He's-
bit checked up by JP there. There's obviously a bit of a squabble of cars 4 in a row. And,
That's unfortunate. Oh, that's not looking good at all.
It's a
Well,
bit
he's got
hurt.
30 seconds to David Oh no, there's David McFulty. He was indeed doing well, Diabols. I was really rooting for him, but unfortunately these things happen. Wow, Reynolds has closed that gap really quickly. What's happened to Kitching? It might have been a bit of an issue.
It's been
had
on and
there.
off. Yeah, it's been on and off for him, to be honest. In that last lap, it was a second and a half. For a couple of laps, it hadn't really moved. Oh, it's been...
Oh,
So
hello.
Sneakers defending. Oh no, he's just gotten
Fine.
past James. Let's
Just
take another
past.
look.
That's very nice. Let's have a look. Yeah, just might have gotten the better exit or the dive. Better exit. Dive into the hairpin. Yeah, James went a little bit wide. Sneakers took full advantage. Got the better exit by the looks of it. Yes, just. And probably gets it done in the braking zone. No, comes back at him. That's right.
so this is the this is going to be the first opportunity where Sneakers and Blair have had a chance to actually race each other rather than fight through the pack with each other. So I think if Sneakers has the pace to get back onto the back of Blair, close that gap up, I think we're going to see a nice little battle on our hands unless they catch up to Boats in the meantime.
How much
But
curb
that
was
will be a
that?
three-way battle.
This?
Boats does
Wow.
have his own pace behind him.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Boat's in a strong
Does.
position, and I did see what you see there, Hobbsy, as well as Sneakers' car
Yeah.
entered another realm of existence for a half moment.
Yeah, it's don't know what quite happened. There's too much curve, but as you say, Braden, that Boats is in a good position, but unfortunately the Audi's not the greatest car here. I'm going to be honest. So he'll be doing his best. He's got nearly 12 seconds to Reynolds, and Blair's just closed up 5/10. Now that he's gotten past James, so expecting fairly routine closing of the gap from Blair. See what happens as they cross the line. Yeah, already another 2/10. So Just over 15 minutes left in this race. Blair catching boats. Robert Shaw is going to be on the back of James in a minute. He's got Votler behind him. Thornton, Van Vliet, I should say. Bubnow's round. Is that what I just saw?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, a bit of a tap with a car by the looks of it. Oh, and he's been hit by an Aston.
Extra one for good measure. Just to run him off the road.
Yeah.
Make it convenient for everyone else coming through. Good on that Aston.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate there. That's just caught a couple of people out that corner. We saw McKay do that. His best mate, funnily enough, do that as well. Bubnow now down in 22nd. Lamb pitting. Might be a bit of damage from the hit with Bubnow, I dare say.
Yeah, Lamb, Darwin, Atanayaki are all in the pits at the moment. There's been a couple of disconnects as well, so some technical issues throughout the field. It's a bit of a war of attrition sometimes, I think, here at Zolder. Yes, as pointed out by Diebols, McNulty has made it into P20, and the race is not over yet. He's out for more scalps.
It's over in 14 minutes and 25 seconds.
Plus a lap.
Plus a lap, probably.
If we want to get technical. Here we see Thornton. Looks like he's having a run on Votler. He's going around the outside, so Votler trying the defensive line. And just kind of runs him a little bit out of space, but not too aggressively. It's fairly judged. Still, it's always nervous when you have to look behind more than you can look ahead. Krug trying best to spectators curse Kitching, saying he's in first, second rate race vibes, but can he stay in first? Last lap, he was just under a tenth faster than Reynolds. So, right now, yes. Time will tell.
I do believe, if my memory serves me correctly, the last time Kitching did a reverse grid race, he won that race. Oh, no, he was winning and then binned it, I think, actually.
Oh, that does...
Yeah, was that Silverstone?
Silverstone, yeah. So, I think he's back to redeem himself this time. His go to Blair.
As Jamie said before, it's all going to come down to consistency on these closing stages of the race. And by the looks of the lap times, Ashton Reynolds has been more consistent. Kitching is capable of setting very fast times, but there have been a couple of laps where he's lost about half a second to almost 1 second. So Reynolds' consistency is absolutely paying off here.
Yeah, look, it's just going to come down to Kitching knowing that the times there, all the Audi running very wide, Blair following too, or just keeping it on the track from the both of them. So just wait to see. There you go, as you say that, Braden. Another second close to Kitching now, as Blair looks to the outside / inside. Looks for it. Boats is going to have none of that. And JP, bit of a tap there on Blair. We can feel him later in the comms box when he joins us.
Yeah, he got himself a bit mixed up then. He's kind of half in and half out, and in the end had to back out a bit too much and caught Sneakers off guard.
Yeah, I think Sneakers is going to be counting his lucky stars that wasn't a turnaround. It was just a little bit of a tap in the end.
It is the hard part of attacking. You need to really, in any given corner or any given opportunity, are you in or are you out? Because half in is where the incidents happen, and I think we almost saw there one where Blair was kind of half in, maybe seeing if he could spook Boats a little bit too much. I think Boats too widely defended a fall for it, and in the end he had to back out because otherwise it was just going to end much worse.
Yeah, there's a bit more to overtaking than being fast and leaving a car width on the track. Obviously, following comes into play as well, and you need to understand that gaps close up very quickly when you're following another car and you come into heavy braking zones, particularly into this chicane. I think it caught a few people out last night. So yeah, following, definitely a big one that people need to get their head around.
Yeah, and how can you be predictable and unpredictable at the same time, if that makes sense, which I'm sure it doesn't. But you need the other drivers racing around you need to be able to have a reasonable idea of what you are actually going to do, so that they know how to drive around that. So not doing anything crazy, doing things that are very normal racing moves, and unpredictability in which one of those moves might you go for. So any of them are relatively standard, not trying anything too crazy, but mixing it up is, am I going to look to the inside? Am I going to stay on the outside? That's there's a degree of unpredictability there, but once you pick your line, the other drivers should know what to expect and how to drive around that. And that's how you avoid collisions when you're racing fast and racing tight up the front. When you're not sure what you're doing either, I think that's when it
not
goes
great.
a bit sideways.
Yeah, you need to be able to know what you're doing, but you also need to know what the others are doing. And we see JP is just sitting behind this battle between Boats and Blair. He's probably just going to wait for a move and then attack after that to try and make the most of his time, because Boats is under a fair amount of pressure from Scout at the moment. We will just have to wait and see how this results. I think Blair's just going to look to the outside / inside / wherever you want to be. Oh, JP.
Have a look at JP. Look at the run.
Yeah. He's going to look to the inside / outside of the second chicane.
That is very deep on the brakes.
Does get it done though. That's well pulled up, even though he went wide. Oh, but Blair does get the better exit, but JP just had that one sorted.
Yeah, that was some
Just
fantastic driving by JP. That was super impressive that he was able to cleanly get that done.
Very, very nice. And I'm going to make the prediction that they will not get past Boats without an incident.
Well, I disagree. I'm going to make the call that JP is going to get past Boats exactly the same way that he just got past Blair.
All right,
Yeah,
we're on.
I think it's going to come down to the chicane. The first one especially, considering the Audi is, not front-engined. And, of course, the Bentley is, don't get technical with me and saying technically it's actually a mid-engined. I'm not taking that crap.
Yeah, you tell him.
This technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Here we go.
We'll take
Sonikas he's got the gap. He is close enough to make something happen relatively soon.
I think this is where all the time's going to come. We'll just see Sonikas just go, what's that curb? What's that? What's the chicane? I'm sure we'll see that right about now. That is revolting.
It's a bit. It's not done yet. Don't
Braden,
prove me wrong in one
looking
lap.
It's not a carbon copy because he's on the other side of the track.
Oh, Braden's looking good.
Oh, it's not quite over. It's over. It's over.
Oh, but Blair's back on him now because of the mistake. Oh, I has to back out though. It's not going to give him a good run down to the hairpin. That's bad, I think.
I tell you what, I've never cared more about a head-to-head battle than I do this one. Because if I'm wrong, I've made the claim and Braden's jumped on it immediately. Like, no, you are wrong.
It's not about you being wrong. It's how dare I be right.
Yeah, and then my role here is just laugh at the person who's wrong.
I understand that he's getting such a better drive out of the Klein chicane, but I think Boats is a very good defender. I think he's a very good head-to-head driver, and it's not to say that JP is not. But this track favours the defender, and I think Boats can hold it. Outside of an incident, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say it. No,
he's fine.
Jamie just was a little bit clenched for a second there. If he keeps this close, Sonikas could look for a move again like he did last lap, and Braden could be on the money. Have to wait and see though. Sonikas does need to. Oh, sticks the nose in.
He's got to compromise the exit there by doing that.
Oh, let's jump off car 30's. Just had an incident. I see. That's Roldan.
Roldan. Let's have a quick look if the game would.
Oh, I wonder if this is the corner that we foreshadowed earlier.
Yeah, just
the Honda would
too
fall
much
for
on
it
the
too.
exit.
If it makes you feel any better, I think you might be right.
No.
Oh no, never mind. Wrong.
Is it going to be
I thought you were right for a second, but you're not.
just...
Just
Oh, that's odd. Okay.
Does he? I think he's accidentally turned the car off.
Yeah,
that's actually...
on the
It's very easy to
buttons.
stall that Honda.
Yeah, look, it is. But Sneakers, this is going to go down to the wire, I dare say. Reynolds 2.1 off Kitching now. So you see just down the bottom there, McKay's gotten a 5-second. Blair is hoping to just keep it clean and not get himself a 5 seconds. Going to look for the dive on Sneakers.
Sneakers under attack.
Oh, I thought I was about to commentate a curse Sneakers there, but I didn't. So
He
that's
was able to
okay.
get out of the way. That was very lucky of Sneakers. Also very lucky of Blair, because that would have been a penalty coming straight towards him if anything transpired there.
That's absolutely correct. And now Blair's going to look for the better run through the chicane, but it is mid-engine, so I wouldn't be expecting too much. Yeah, and Sneakers right back on him again. Am I meant to be surprised?
Yeah, you see Blair making that Ferrari as wide as he possibly can, taking up the middle of the track. It's not going to be fooled again.
Ooh,
It's,
Sneakers gets a
Mad
little bit
exit from
through there.
JP. Wow. That was a bit tough there. So now he's going to drop right off, but probably will catch up pretty quickly now that Boats and Blair will battle.
Keeping half eye on this, Reynolds has closed the gap down to 1.3 seconds on Kitching as well.
Yeah,
And
he's
last
going to be
lap,
able to taste that position now that he can see the back of the car that close.
I suppose
It's
as
gonna
we've
be-
been
it's
watching...
only
from-
about 3 laps to go, so it's, he's going to have to make it happen pretty soon. And we've seen how hard it is to overtake around here. It can be pretty dicey sometimes.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. It's one thing to catch a driver, it's another to get ahead of them here. But I'm feeling a bit better than what I was 8 minutes ago, now that there's only 3.5 left, and Boats is still holding on. So he does over-rotate a tiny bit, and wisely just kind of picks up his racing line, but makes sure it's a line that stops Blair getting too much of a run. So limiting the damage, I think, is the key here. Look, he's not even willing to give Blair any kind of toe. He'll go out onto the marbles. Whatever
Oh, he
shred of a
touched
toe
it there.
exists here.
On entry, JP just hitting all that curb, so he's now back in it after just under a lap of going off track. Right back on the behind of Blair now, who's going to need to get a good run through here. Sneakers, Blair losing the rear a little bit, but still right on the back of Boats now. Reynolds has closed that down to a second gap from Kitching. Oh, Sneakers, no! Oh, that was a big dive. That was...
Yeah, he's just paying scope back for that rude move into turn 2 earlier, and it's paid off for him. Fair game. Oh, how the turns have tabled, and he really needed to do that because he's got 2 more opportunities to make an overtake.
Boats, no! Play
There
on
we go.
umpire, and they're both through.
Within 3 corners, Sneakers has found himself from P5 up onto the podium. But Scott Blair is not done.
No way. He's going to want that podium position now that it's up for grabs again. Goes around the outside. Sneakers could break early here. Go for the switch back. I think he's going to. Someone should hire me to do this shit. I'm big brain. Oh, no. Oh. Jesus, maybe don't hire me to do that. Oh, another tap. This is very close racing. That's play on. Hit the dirt, and there goes the time. Boats is going to be back on Blair now. That's play on.
Yeah, I think first time round, Sneakers may have lifted a little bit just to keep the positions as they were. There's a little bit of a redress, but second time round, not too sure it was as polite as the first time.
Yeah, that is racing for you, though.
Yeah, it's come down
All or
to his
nothing.
mentality. Let the stewards deal with it. If I cop a penalty, I cop a penalty.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Nissan on the side there. Don't know who that is. It might be. Could be
it's
Keen. I don't quite know.
It's Peterson. He's been parked there for a while now. As you heard that, leader, Kitching, onto the final lap. We're going to have to jump up there, actually. 'cause
6:10's
Reynolds-
gonna
Yeah,
have to
we
go
will.
up
Let's go
there.
have a look.
This could be Kitching's first win or a great comeback from Reynolds. One or the other. It's game on.
Yeah, it just comes down to whether this is one of the good laps that Kitching does or if it's one of the inconsistencies. And with pressure added to the equation, I think it's going to be a quick lap. I think he knows what's at stake, and I don't think he's going to want to mess it up.
He's got so few opportunities.
Reynolds.
We know that this is the last lap. I love that there's rain coming in 30 minutes. It was so
that's
close.
great.
Where do
Time
you-
extension.
Time extension.
Yeah, time extension.
Oh, if you're Reynolds, it's going to have to be the final chicane, right? And this gap is too
You're
big.
going to have to just go as hard on the brakes and as late as possible. There we go. Oh, look how much that's closed up. Kitching's going to have that exit. I think it's game over for Reynolds. Very good comeback, though, from 13th up into P2. Oh, tried it. Look for it, but cannot get it done. So, Ollie Kitching, first win. What a way to do it. Nearly lost it there to Reynolds.
Yeah, such a good job.
Sneakers, Blair still going at it. Oh, Blair trying to give JP everything he's got. But, unfortunately, can't all be done. A great battle between these two. The whole race provided much entertainment.
Yeah, they've absolutely scrapped it out. And some really good door-to-door racing as well. So it was kind of right on that limit of acceptability, which is what we love to see. Boats, I still think if he hadn't have run wide, I think he would have had it. But a P5 is a very, very solid result. I did see Bender he was just behind Bub now. But looks like that gap has opened up a little bit too much to try and catch at the end. Shafley, though, he's on the back of Desai. There's one chicane, one chance, one opportunity. I don't think it's really that much of an opportunity, though. That's more suicide dive if you tried it.
Yeah, that's right.
Indeed. They will come across the line at P16, 17. Sasana just behind in 18th. Bub now behind, followed by Bender in 20 minutes. Wondering, if only 30 more minutes, I could have had some rain. Not to be. And Gutierrez,
for
I
Bender.
think, yeah, that's it. And for all of us, it would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been great. But, you know, that's it. So Kitching does take the win there. What a race. Reynolds nearly had it. I think, I dare say, another lap or two. Reynolds would have had it. Sneakers, great battle there with Blair for the whole race. Boats, bit unfortunate. Dive, death, no brakes into the final chicane. And it doesn't want the results anymore. Fair enough.
Yeah, unfortunately the game moves on. And we have to move on to Split Red. So you can watch as I try and find the server correctly. Do I not see it?
Scroll up, Jamie.
Thank you. This is why we have a commentary team. So I'm not left to my own devices and
Yeah.
my mistakes can get pointed out immediately.
We've made pretty good time. We're just coming into qualifying now, just going on to the first flying laps as well.
Indeed.
Usually with these super sprint rounds, it's very hard to make it to the second split, to the second split of the night and make that qualifying.
This will be the first flying laps. Just starting up now. Yeah, this will be everyone's out lap. So, kind of get. Fortunately, I mean, it's a shorter run. We already see that there's car off. That's car 164. That's Rashuti, and he's gone back to the pits. Because it is such a short track, even with only 8 minutes, you kind of lose 2 just doing your outlap and whatnot. Still got 6 minutes. I think you can get 4 laps, 5 if you're lucky.
It's one of those tracks where timing is key. You need to not waste any time. Have that quali set up loaded before the session starts. Mash the drive button, get out there, waste as little time as possible to get in and maximise the most of the time that you've been given.
Well, you say that, but a lot of people get out pretty much instantly, and I don't quite understand it because I have to go into my setup and adjust the tyre pressures according to the current temperatures in game.
That's why you go into a session before the race and find out what the temps are going to be.
If you've...
Well, that's just cheating.
Yeah.
No, it's not though. It's
It
using
is.
your resources.
You're allowed to use one of the cars provided. You cannot use a DeLorean and travel through time and figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not homologated for GT3.
It's basically abusing the almanac.
Wow, Ben Floyd. I dare say that's a banker lap, a 1:28.1.
Do we need to...
That is well done.
Just before we go, so what Braden's referring to is a classic film called Back to the Future.
I don't know. It's my favourite movie.
Is it? It's about 20
Yeah.
years older than you are.
Oh, I know. It is. It's 19 actually. Yes, it's one of my favourite. It's probably my favourite movie ever.
There you go. Zach Smith
Yep, couldn't agree more.
does jump into the 128.5s as we reminisce about films of old. Kunos, please, DeLorean says. I'd love it. We'll do an entire series with it.
Yeah, the DeLorean, not great on straights, not great in low, mid, or high-speed corners. However, where you're going with that car, you're not going to need roads.
Oh my gosh, I was
true.
waiting for it. I knew you were going to make some sort of joke.
You just jump forward to the end of the race and cross the line. Done. Easy.
He's done. There you go. Win.
Isn't the DeLorean known to break down every 2 hours? Yeah, but that's why you get to 1 hour 59 minutes, then you go back to the start, right?
Yeah.
Use your brain, Diebols. Think.
Yeah, come on, mate.
All right, let's start to get away from our nonsense and into some
Yeah,
deltas.
what garbage are we on about?
Zach Smith, 8/10 up as his tyres get up to temperature. That would be enough to pip Baldwin, who's now on a 127.9. Smithy, in his practices for this, has surprised himself with just how fast he can be.
Yeah, 8/10 up. It's going to bring him into the high to low 27s. There it is. P1, 27.7. What a lap. Here's Chewiet's now. 8/10 up as well. 9/10. Maybe could even be a second up with a good exit. He is nearly a second up. 9.5 So this is going to put him up a fairly long way. Oh, I was wrong. P7. P8 now. Still a good time though. 28.7.
Yeah, Sam Misson, one of the higher ranked prams at the moment from what I can tell. He's gained a half second as we see a Porsche attempting some different routes. Not likely to find success that way, but maybe next time. As we see Misson dropping down the order as faster times come in. He's gone from 10th to 12th just during the time that we are watching. But he's on a good gain himself, and a lot of drivers really are. I can see on my grid Girardi currently a full second up on his previous best time in P17 as it stands. 1.4. So, oh my goodness. I was finding time faster than I'm looking at. That doesn't really make sense, but we're going with it. So Misson
Low
here.
frame rate on those eyeballs, mate.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
something like that. P10 for Misson, 1 second off the pace, but that's not too bad. Girardi, I just talked about 1.8 seconds up on his previous best, which was a 130 flat. It's a big step.
P6. Well done.
Some very,
28.2.
very nice work. Baldwin has found quarter second already.
Just want to also, well, we've got a quick lull. Welcome JP to the chat. JP, great race. Mate, wipe the sweat off your brow because it's time to relax for you. That was some of the most intense racing that we've seen so far this season. So give yourself a pat on the back for the results tonight. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much. I would pat myself on the back, but it's all sweaty, so I don't really want to touch
Oh
it.
yeah, no, that's not a good idea.
No, that was awesome fun. I think it was on the limit here and there, but I tried to keep it as clean as possible, but it was super intense, man. Really, really good fun.
Yeah, we were bracing ourselves here just watching it, so yeah, couldn't imagine how you and also Scott Blair felt. Even Boats in that three-way battle, it became pretty intense.
Very, very tight stuff as we see Baldwin 127.4. He's
done.
happy with that. Not going to do another lap. He is good. Holmes. He's a couple of tenths
Chase
up.
cam.
That's
I'm
right.
smelling chase cam.
You know what? You're absolutely right. That is exactly what he'd want. You see, he
He's
loses
just lost
a
all that
tenth,
time. Wow.
a tenth and a half
See,
as we
that's
watch
what
him.
happens. That's the chase cam effect.
But still, he's currently P9 He doesn't need that much more to gain a position or two. A 10th.5 would get him ahead of Misson. 2/10 for Girardi. But it's going to have to be an outstanding final chicane.
Well, it wasn't.
It looked good at the start, but I think the second part of it just couldn't quite hold it the way he'd like.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of wheel spin on the exit there, so he just lost a bit of traction and straight line speed.
Fowler, however, is going to jump a bunch of positions, I think. No, just a
Not
couple.
one.
Look at how close he was to 2 more, though.
Yeah, 3 1,000s. There were 10, 1/100. That's so close. Gibbo is a 10th.5 up. That would put him P11. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, just running up ahead. I'm not exactly sure who the Porsche in front of him is. I'm just getting checked up a little bit. I think that might have compromised him. So there you go. Baldwin with the 127.4 will take pole position from Smith. 2/10 behind him.
All right, I'm gonna leave you guys to it, but thanks for a great split. And I'm
you very
gonna
much.
split, I suppose.
Alright,
Thank you very much, mate. Now we get a little bit more of a break. So yes, JP, we saw the races. The guys were talking about it earlier, and I think I'd have to say we know how little, how small a touch it takes in ACC sometimes to really kick the cars around. And you guys were door to door without going over that limit. So I think that was very, very well done by both of you.
Yeah, thanks. I think I hope Scott enjoyed it as much as I did. I was saying some pretty strong language to myself at some stage when you make a little mistake in a tight battle like that. But no, it was really fun. Good to get the podium at the end there. I think Yaku was probably stressing out seeing the two of us battling towards him. But he did very well defending there, very clean defending, and some really good moves. So, no, that's been my best race so far in OOR, I must admit.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think some people when they look at Zolder, they don't expect that to be the best racing. But there you go. It just takes
I
good
will admit
execution.
it's a frustrating track for overtaking. But no, it makes for great close racing. But yeah, I'd rather overtake on Brands Hatch than here, pretty much.
Oh, I do love a bit of Brands Hatch. I feel like Brands Hatch is a very interesting comparison because I think the track length is very similar. Brands Hatch, there's so many opportunities, and they're not easy. But with your eyes open, there's chances, and as a defender, you have to keep your eyes open so much more, which I really, really like. That's me, and that's my taste.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's possible to overtake, but you need to have some pretty big balls and some big commitment just to send it where it doesn't necessarily look like it's going to pay off, but sometimes it just does. And yeah, Brands Hatch is a similar thing, or you just need to pile the pressure on until somebody makes a mistake, which is also an alternative option.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're bang on. He's amazing as well to watch because when you guys did your race, it was overcast. I love the way the lighting actually works here because it was actually a lot lighter. With the clouds kind of carrying the light. Oh no, sorry, it was a bit clearer, so it actually looked quite a lot lighter. But here it's a lot darker.
Yeah, I was hoping for some rain in the race. That would have been fun. But
It was coming.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
30 minutes later.
just too late. But hell, hopefully we'll see some race or some rain in race 2 here. I reckon with the top 10 we have here, this is going to be a cracking race in terms of the closeness of the field and closeness of the pace.
I think you're not wrong. Just making sure my tools are still connected. Get a quick look at the leaderboard. Can I? No, I cannot. Okay, that's alright. What's happened here? Okay, it's broken a tiny bit. Let me just...
Nice.
Okay, not sure what happened there, but we're back. So, do you want to have the honours, JP, calling out the start?
I'm still getting my breath back.
All
If Hobbsy wants to take it.
I can pick this one up. I haven't done one tonight, so
Yeah, go for it.
we are coming up to the line now. Baldwin on the inside has pole. Zach Smith on the outside will be keen to try and grab that if he can. Looks to me like I think that's McIntosh behind in around P6. P7 has gotten himself a nice start. Washington getting pushed a little bit to the outside and has to settle in behind Jacobs. So the Mercedes of Floyd darting to the inside, trying to really consolidate his position. And have we already got a safety car? That looks quite slow. We do. What has happened back here? So there must have been an incident a fair bit further back. So we'll try and see. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, Christ.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
it's a little bit of a tap. No, but that's not a little bit of a tap.
That's safety car. Yep. That's no other words needed.
Okay.
That was quite an aggressive turn one.
Yeah, you don't say. You really don't say.
It's easy to happen, I think, because you can easily, because the track is so wide. Just coming into that point, you can try and jam about 5-6 cars wide.
Yeah,
can't
there's a lot of
end
line
5-6
stack to
wide.
it, but the biggest issue here, especially with this temperatures, is the tires are little blocks of ice that just go round and round, and you have no grip through there.
So
So
cold.
going 5 wide is not exactly recommended.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we should see actually quite a lot of drivers if we look behind, just trailing their brakes. Indeed, I think I did the entire lap here warming up, holding on the brakes, including through
Still
the
wouldn't have been
chicanes.
enough.
No, I mean, you're just desperately trying to get as much temperature as possible as you can into them. You shift the brake bias all the way backwards as well, because the rears just don't build up temperature quite as fast. But there, Baldwin, exactly as you're saying, is just... Indeed, if I do the basic HUD, we'll see him in just a sec. Just...
The problem is you spend all of the warm-up lap warming up your tires, you do 2 corners, and then they cool down again behind the safety car.
Yep.
Yeah, but just right now you can see in that bottom right, throttle pinned to the floor and he's modulating his speed with the brake just to try and get as much temp in as he can, and that's the way to go. And I think even if it's dark enough, you start to see the glowing brake rotors if one of these TV cams that shows a side-on shot.
This is where free cam can come in, Jamie.
Like it is. But I can't remember, and I'm not going to ask how to use it again. And I think everyone's a bit tired of me trying to figure out the camera controls. But these TV shots look great, though, I think.
They do.
The lighting in this is absolutely phenomenal. So, night races are my favourite to watch by far.
Who is the safety car? Because what was that chicane?
Heck, I don't. It's a Zolder chicane. Are you incredulous because he actually followed the white lines?
No, we nearly binned it. That was what I was having a look at.
Actually, this is the thing that drivers will have to be careful of as well. You cannot take the quote unquote racing lines through these chicanes. You will mess your tyres up real bad if you go through on 24 psi and try and bounce over them.
No, what do you mean? That's perfectly okay.
I mean, you'll find some extra temp later as the puncture really sets in.
Yeah, the first lap is always a bit of a lottery whether you can take a curb or not.
Yeah, it's
Well,
20-minute race.
Restart time.
Man, Smith has absolutely gotten off to a flyer. So he had snuck that position away from Baldwin on the initial start. So he gets to keep it thereafter. We'll jump the camera a little bit further back and try and keep an eye forwards and backwards if there's anything going on. It looks to me like that he there was having a bit of a look under brakes. Holmes is trying to grab that position off Girardi. He's got it for the moment, but can he keep it? I think he can. Girardi not likely to be able to go back at him given that gap there. So maybe a case of Holmes just having the better tyres knowing
Just
he's up
might
to
be close
10.
enough for big send.
A big send when it's this cold is real dicey, isn't it? As you just pointed out. Don't want to take it too much, and I think Girardi might be thinking a little bit about the laps ahead and making sure that they're safe. So you can see car 367, that is Parkin, has done himself a little bit of a mischief here. What has happened in the
You did a good job,
Jag?
Mark, but
Oh yeah, just
just dead.
Jag things.
not quite got the grip he wanted. Maybe a few
Unfortunately, the Jag traction control is like an on-off switch. There's no in between. So I think on a slide, it's quite hard to grab it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about that transition on and off, isn't it? If it's unpredictable or really jolty, that just upsets the car too much, especially on a loaded corner like that. See, Smith already got himself a 2.6 second gap to Baldwin behind him, so he's up and about, feeling good. Raschuti, however, is right on the back of McIntosh.
I had a race here with Richudi a couple of days ago, and I got very bored of the back of that Huracan.
He's a fierce car, racer. So actually racing other cars, very, very good, attacking and defending.
Yeah, it's fantastic racing with him. I've had a great race with him in the Endurance Series as well. He's super clean, great defense. Good to race with him, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we want at the end of the day. As I've said a few times, if we wanted to hot lap, we would. We want to race against other people, and that's what we get here. So you can see a bit of a view up ahead of McIntosh, just how much you can come on the inside. The second part in particular of that chicane. Shooting, handling everything pretty cleanly by the looks of things. He's got a little bit of a gap to Holmes, but not too much. Sorry, go ahead.
No, a good little battle developing there, 16th, 17th, Medding's neighbour and Sanderson around there.
Oof.
Whoa.
Absolutely correct.
Medding's going to go for the dive. He is. That's David Neighbour, who has gotten past Bryce. And, Medding's not holding back. There's a Lambo. That's Sanderson.
Sanderson.
Now it's Haziq and Viney, and even Clayton's getting in on this now. This is potential for good, but potential for also bad. But they're keeping it very clean. That's what we like to see. Side by side is Sanderson and Meddings. Oh
no. Oh, that's bad luck.
Okay. Not my fault. Not my fault, I swear.
You did say there's a potential for bad, so fair warning was given.
No,
Oh no.
No.
Oh, and I think he might have stalled the car as well.
Yeah, jeez, it's not advised to stall the car.
Now, I think that's on JP. He said, go watch this. We did. That's what we saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't say I was going to clean battle. I said there's a good
Yeah.
No. You can't try and escape your curse, right? If you've cursed someone, you've got to own
that's
it.
right.
Fine, I'll take it. I haven't cursed anybody yet, so that's my first. My
Yeah.
curse virginity has been taken. I'll take it.
That wasn't
there's
too bad
still
as far as we
7.
go.
Yeah, that you should have seen my first one. Two Ferraris, Barcelona. That was my first ever race commentating as well. That was.
I can see it left an impression, as you can still remember the exact details.
Oh, big time. Split red too. I could have told you even the split.
Just having a look back here. This is Justin Clayton. Something's happened, I think, as he comes into the chicane.
Tap the Ferrari. Oh,
he's
just lock the
closer.
rears ever so slightly, and that's
I think he's
Try
drifted
to
wide
who
on
he's
brakes
behind.
to try and avoid the collision. and that's-
Powell behind his side by side with Powell now, just about. Powell.
The braking for that little hairpin is so tricky to get right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly, in my race, I know at least once, maybe twice, I had to do exactly what Clayton did and accept that I was about to run into someone, so I've got to run wide and probably give up some positions, but that is much better than hitting another car. And I think heads up for him. I was trying for it, but it didn't work, so took the self penalty and continued on safely.
Yeah, one of the issues when you're following closely in the Bentley here, because it's so good through the chicane, if you're following any mid-rear cars, you need to sort of anticipate how slow they're going to be through the chicane.
Oh, that's
Uh,
Clayton off.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong. It's so hard to follow close, isn't it? All your brake markers and things like that, you can't really see them. So you're doing it a lot by feel, and then that feel is accentuated by what's the car ahead going to do. I know that I've really struggled to follow McLaren's because their braking pattern is so... it feels so different to me. At least last season prior, it felt like they had to brake so much earlier, or so much better. I had to brake a lot earlier, etc., etc. So
yeah, no, it makes for some fun battles, because you can close up in certain areas, and then the areas where you're maybe quicker on the exits, there's not an opportunity. So you need to kind of plan around it. That's why you can send it into the second chicane, but you need to get the timing on the first chicane just perfect. Yeah, so
yeah, it's good when it rewards you for getting it right as well. You know, you really nailed it, and you get to feel that advantage, and grab a position. That's the really fun part to me as well. So yeah, I'm curious how the Porsche handles some of these tight curves. As always, we
seems to handle them well when you're Bukita.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen anything that really flapped her too much. Maybe the Audi was a bit... I think she disliked the random deaths.
Sweet saying in chat that Floyd Jacobs battle is getting nice and spicy.
Absolutely right. So this is what happens. So jump on pitwall.live if you like, so you can find all the battles that we miss. So we can see someone off. So car 86 is having a little bit of a moment. That's Lynn. Further behind, but yeah, Ben Floyd, exactly as they say, has been chasing Jacobs. So the last lap or so, Jacobs got a couple of tenths up. Indeed, Jacobs did a 1:27.9 race pace, which is his fastest lap, and I think is the fastest lap we've seen all race.
Oh, that's on you.
I wasn't even looking. I was looking at lap timings. I've got to go back here to see what happens, because I don't know.
But you were saying how well he was doing.
You were,
that's fair.
You were
that's
saying
fair.
how well he was doing.
I wasn't even looking at the screen.
Second bit of the chicane, and bye.
Props on him for keeping it and holding it reasonably well together, and in a tight battle only losing one position. I think one position. But
Yep.
there you go. Don't even have to be looking to curse.
That's a new level.
I mean, the amount of times in each race I try and find a battle or try to pick out something to look at, and I hear you guys say, "Oh, there's an off." I've got no idea what it is, and I've got to figure it out real quick. Happens more often than I'd like.
Yeah, would that be your curse, or would that be Corey for pointing it out? I reckon some of the blame should go to Corey at least.
He's already owned part of it, so props to him.
Well, he's embracing it, which is a bit bothersome, but
yeah. We've said you can't tempt fate with it. I should grab this one here. You can't say that you're going to curse. That just doesn't work.
No, that doesn't. You get out. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's got to be natural. The universe knows.
It does. Yeah, it does. But it's a spicy battle at the moment. 3 front-engine cars, and Chewieth in the background in his Ferrari. He's just waiting for this to spice up a little bit. Girardi's just going to look for the potential overtake on Samwise, but Mission's really just harassing the back of Girardi now. As we see Stuart Matthews, P22's grabbed himself a 15-second. I dare say that will be that collision around turn 1, which is probably in my book a little bit generous, but stewards do their job. I just say things and hope that chat likes it.
Well, I love actually this track, and you get a very kind of closed view because of the elevation of this hill again. But I think you really caught for a moment back there about halfway around that lap, of how quickly the pack backs back up as you start scrapping. As Cheviot's got right back involved, and I think pretty soon we're going to see Gibbons in this pack too, because they are, I mean, they're still doing pretty respectable times. So all high 129s, which is about fair for it. But as soon as you get past Samwise, you're into low 128s. And these guys are all capable of that, no doubt. But just even the lightest bit of a scrap just costs you a little bit here and there. You know, we're not seeing anyone really pushing for positions just at the moment, but just not being able to pick your markers, you know, having to think about, is someone going to dive at me? All gets into your head. So again, the Fro just re-enters the game as they all just try to find the right breaking point in a relatively tight battle.
And this one looks very good through that second chicane as well.
It does. It's very nice. Not as good as the Bentley and Merc and Aston, but it's still much better than all the mid rear engine and the Porsche, I should say. There's only one rear engine car, but Girardi's got the run on Samwise. Will probably look for a dive, maybe later on the brakes. He does. That's an interesting line, but it's forced. Oh, Samwise wide. And now looks like Misson will get the position. So will Cheviot's even. So Girardi's actually pulled off, I dare say, too much pressure on accident on Samwise there. Now, as you said, Jamie Gibbo's right in on the action, and I think Samwise might be a little bit rattled at the moment. He's just not quite hit that line through turn 1, but turn 2 he's okay. It looks like even Johnson there is just getting in on the action.
You got to regather quite quickly, I think. Exactly as you say, I think it feels like Holmes just got spooked a little bit by how aggressively Girardi had gone in under brakes, and it's really kind of offset him. And then, you know, if you lose 3 positions, you were in P8, and now you're down in 11 in the space of 2 turns. It's hard not to.
It's very demoralising. That's the thing. It's like he saw him, and he probably gave him enough room, and Girardi went for an interesting line. I think Samwise just got a little bit spooked by that. I think he might have been going to be taken out, on my words. So I think he's just gone the safe option. It's not really paid off, unfortunately, though, losing out those 3 positions, but sure he'll look to make them back up. There is only 2 minutes, though, so he's going to have to get moving if he wants them back.
And I almost wonder, and it's hard. I'm trying to remember exactly what the move looked like, and I might have it wrong. But it's also that hint of, if you leave the door open, someone might be inclined to try and go through it. And he was well on the outside looking for his racing line. And you know, if there's a door there and you stop going for it, then you're not a racer. So Girardi might be a bit too optimistic, but you know.
To be fair to him, he did make his line, or he did make his braking. So it's a send, and it looks quite optimistic. So you have to move out of it. So it's an effective send, because you scare the guy into moving out, and you still make your braking marker. So overall it's a clean move. And Samwise was just so compromised through the rest of the chicane that he then obviously had no pace down the main straight.
Yeah, that's it. But if you make those moves too often, you've got to start hitting people, so got to be careful. Oh, so we see very interesting line there by Powell. Decides that he needs to head to the grass to try and continue the run. Usually you'd lift, but that's okay. We've heard the man on the final lap. Let's just take a quick look at the timings up the front. So Baldwin 1.3 seconds behind Smith. He did gain a fair bit, 7-8 tenths on the last lap, but trying to regain a 1.3 second gap on the final lap is a very big ask. Ben Floyd, he's got 8 tenths between him and a podium, but there's a Washington in the way, and I suspect that Washington is not inclined to give up their position easily.
I think if you're this far back as Floyd, you just settle for it and take the higher starting position in the second race, really. because the point difference is not that great. And a higher starting position is a little bit of a bigger benefit in that longer race then.
You might be right. He does have a 2.2 second gap behind though, so I guess there's nothing wrong with him trying to throw a bit of extra juice at it and see if maybe he can take advantage of some mistake. As long as you don't overcook it and kind of really feed that position back, then you're probably okay. But by now, it would take a mighty mistake, I think, from Washington, and Washington knows it. He'll just cover up his apex and say, hoping fine, see you next race.
The leader has finished the race.
As he should. Rashidi will be the next one to have a quick look at. So he has gotten himself past Jacobs, actually. So
Where did that happen?
I'm going to go back here, and he'd already done it 20 seconds prior. So I'm not exactly sure. I picked 20 seconds, and I thought that would be enough, but no. So it must have been right at the start of the final sector. Otherwise I would have caught at least a hint of it. So well done to Rashidi for jumping an extra position right at the end. Oh, here we go. So this is Bendig trying to fend off He. Don't think he's got the legs to quite get there. That is very tight to the end, 600ths.
He just couldn't get there.
Yeah, no, he couldn't.
Just, oh dear.
I apologize.
That's all
So
right.
we've got Braden back in the box. Oh, Aston. Oh, Zanchin. That's. Oh, I thought that might have been in the wall on the final corner, but he does with 15 anyway. So still going to lose out 1, 2, 3, 4 positions at the moment, maybe 5, depending on. Yeah, 5 now, 6 even. That's a lot of positions there.
For a second I thought Viney hadn't crossed the line yet. I'm like, that is a long drive if you do not have fuel, my friend. Who hasn't crossed yet? Just trying to pick it out. As far as I can tell,
Everyone has. It's just gonna.
No,
It's just
it
gonna
thinks,
take a minute to switch over.
it thinks that Lim has not finished, nor has Clayton and Middings. So it'll figure it out eventually. Right, so our top 12. So Smith through to Holmes. So Holmes tactically bagged himself a pole for the next race. And oh no, he's actually jumped an extra position because of some penalties being handed out. So Gibbons will have pole for the next race alongside Holmes. So still front row of the grid for him. And then everyone else from 13th down. We'll do a wet qualifying.
Green light, give it all you can.
Oh, hello.
And there's increasing rain as well. Now, it's increasing rain in the next 10
wow.
minutes, but it's within the next 10 minutes. So, it's not going to get much wetter. So you can see the plus, but it's still the 4 dashes rain icon. So not going to get too much worse, but everyone's going to take a little while as they load up. I'd suggest for the majority of them, the default wet setup. And hope that the tyre pressures are about right. Who got out first? I think that's Carl Johnson. No, it's another Honda just ahead of him. It is not Chalmers. Viney. So he gets the pride of place. Get a bit of far chase cam. See how the car's spinning out on him in these slippery conditions.
The Honda doesn't spin, it just does VTEC things.
Yeah, look, this is the Honda's worst track, but it's in the wet now, so it might. I doubt we'll see a Honda on top, but we'll definitely see them further up than what they would be, dare say, in the dry. So hopefully, the Honda boys can take full advantage of that. I know it's like having driven Honda last season, and so do you, Jamie. So it's a tricky one to drive in the dry, let alone in the wet. But if you find that time in the wet, boy, can it go fast.
And I'm just trying to get a read on the track. So, because it looks like it's obviously wet. Right, I understand that. But it looks like it's still fairly rubbered in as well.
No. It's WET, wet.
I understand that. But for those who are not familiar, and Mitch,
Yeah.
so the sim will simulate that there's been racing, including the race that we just watched, but other racing throughout the weekend as well. And so if this rain has come in while there's still quite a lot of rubber on the track and the rain is still fairly fresh, then like in real life, there'll still be some rubber there. The track will be extra greasy in some of these sectors, even more so than just the rain itself.
Oh, VTech things. So, in the chat, we have Jbot Gaming ask, what is a good, decent wet lap time?
Ooh.
Depends
Which
on
is
how
really
wet.
impossible to
I was
answer.
gonna say.
So we have
Between
a
a
yellow...
132 to a 36, I would say, depending on the condition.
I'd say if we're going to go decent-ish pace, you'd be looking at 34s, I'd say.
I think we saw down to 33s as the track started to dry out a bit, because the rain eased off, if I recall.
Well, it's not drying out here, so we're looking at probably 34s, I'd say. Maybe 35s, but it depends who we've got.
It's also...
in
At Zolder, I suppose.
grids.
It's a question of how much do you just want to throw the car at the chicane and pray.
Yeah, look, there is that.
Because in the wet, in a race, you would absolutely not do it. But maybe in qualifying, you just say, "Look, I'm just going to go." And if it makes it through and the car's still stable at the end of the chicane, then there's a massive time gain over anyone who, in the wet in particular, who's not willing to try.
Yeah.
It's not a sensible move. Do not recommend. And you're still going to be able to execute the rest of the lane. Yeah, well then.
To be fair, it doesn't mind whether it's moist or not. It just goes for it, so it's fine.
That's it. Well, we'll see in just a moment, I think. There we go. So Frustock comes through with the 136. Yep. Johnson 135.2.
35.2.
In the Honda. 110. Behind.
I reckon we'll see some mid 34s.
Yeah,
somewhere around
there's Zenshant. So we know that Aston is also good in the wet, so we could possibly even see a high 33 in these conditions. It is getting worse though, you're just having a look at it from the screen, so I dare say probably won't be a lot of people going faster. They'll try their hardest. They've got 3.5 minutes left, but I think it's just going to be accelerator down and pray.
Now, have you noticed what I have? The track has gone to damp, which is interesting. So that means that there's so many cars out there that there is actually a reasonable drying line.
There is a dry line, yeah.
And you still want wet tyres, absolutely, ever since a couple of patches ago. Still rain falling, and indeed the rain is going to increase, but because there's 20-something cars out there doing laps, it's actually clearing the rain reasonably quickly. And it will factor in as well if the track itself naturally drains water faster. Also comes into play. But yeah, JBot Gaming, a 36.7 in medium wet. In medium wet, that's probably right. This is a very light wet, which is why the track is able to dry out even though more rain is coming. So it would be a bit slower in a medium wet. But it really depends. As we see a Porsche in its natural habitat.
Dead.
I think he just wants a good view of that chicane, really.
He's just
Perfect vantage.
surveying the lines. Yeah, great point. Haven't seen too much more, so Zanshin still holds it with a 134.5. Of course, our 12 fastest from the previous race, not taking part in this qualifying. So we'll see how that plays out. And it might hurt them a tiny bit if it is a wet race as well. At least the guys driving right now will have an idea what they need. If their tyre pressures are off, they'll have an idea how they need to increase or decrease those. Some meetings coming through. Let's start to look for some deltas. Carl Johnson, you can see here, 3/10 up. He needs that 3/10 if he wants his pole back, and I think he's going to get held up by an Aston who has gracefully exited the track for him. However, he's going to need a fair bit more. He'll get one more run at it.
That Aston looked a fair amount like an Audi there. I'm not sure if it's delivery or...
You might be right. I might have said the wrong thing. Here you go. Needs a couple of tenths. Brakes a bit later. Feels a bit more comfortable with what the car can do in these conditions now.
Oh, hit the curb though. That's going to be a bad exit. Yep. And there goes all the time. He's got one more lap in him if he's got the fuel for it. So, still 3 tenths off, 2 tenths off. Here's Matty Powell. Oh, hello.
He's 9 tenths. He needs a full second to get pole. One more tenth and he'll have it.
10th. See how loud on the brakes he dare go. Oh, might have run. Oh, he's pulled it up though. Hang on, this is going to be good. Oh no, someone's gone faster. 1.3 needed. No, it's going to be still good though. P3. P2. Nice lap.
Very nice lap.
Mansion went faster. Good stuff.
Carl Johnson. He's back on. Let's get this few because this is almost a pole time at the moment. He's finding buckets. His last lap was his fastest, so he's pipped that again. And we saw that there was some gains for him just about here with the not Aston, the Audi got out of his way.
The ASD.
That's it. That rain on the windscreen makes it very difficult to see what's going on.
So he won't turn on his wipers because he races in dash cam or in a hood cam.
I think you're right.
The wipers won't be on.
So this is more likely to be what he sees.
This could be pole.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah, decent exit. Lose a little bit of time, but it's still going to be pole. It's going to be a 33.9. Yeah, what a lap. But
With
Zanshin, wow, he's going to have a response though. Final corner, don't mess it up. Oh, he's gone deep.
Deep there.
I think he's made a mess.
Nice.
Good exit. Good exit.
Decent exit.
Oh, no, not enough.
Not enough.
Just
no,
not enough.
Just so close.
Powell doesn't have it, but Meddings is on a gain as well. Oh, he's, I think, just lost it.
Well, as you say that, he's gone and balls down.
A tiny bit. Sassano's just ahead of him, though. We'll check how this goes, because he's just gained 8 tenths on his best. That's going to pull him a long way up the order.
A P3, good lap. Very nicely done. Just got in front of Powell there by not even 2 100ths. P6 for Bryce. Good stuff.
And Dale Lawson, 7.5 tenths up on his best at the moment, jumps him up into P17, so that's a good gain for him. And I think we're out of people still on the track and on an improvement, and indeed we're out of people on the track. So Carl Johnson with the 133.9 in these conditions, very, very strong performance. Look at that, Zanshin, so close.
Oh,
and it's a wet race
too. Oh, yeah.
And it's going to ease, but not for a while.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. Wonder if it could be a dry end to the race. That would spice things up. I would like to see that.
It's a good point because it's a 40-minute race. So 30 minutes in, we're dropping from... What's this? Is this medium rain into light?
It looks like, yeah, I'd say medium rain.
That's it. Let's get an idea from maybe the dash of someone's car. So if you use... What does it look like on the windscreen as a measure? It's that. But this is where I postulated. Is this going to help out the people who qualified because they've got a bit more feeling for it? It is going to be wetter than what they qualified in, but it's not that big a difference compared to not having practiced it.
And the temps in here is just a little bit cooler than if you set up a server. So getting the tire temps right is quite a challenge. My temps were way off in my second race as well. Just because the temps are just a little bit lower. So hopefully they'll adjust for that.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And in chat, Corey Sweet is saying bonnet cam doesn't make it a simulator. If I already see the steering wheel, then I don't need to see another steering wheel on the screen. So still a simulator.
I think it's about perspective.
Yeah.
Foul Minion, which commentator has the honour to call curses? Everyone. Everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
You can call them. But you have to know, the thing is for it to be a curse, you have to know in your heart that you didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Right? You have to genuinely... I remember, the one that I remember is Bathurst. It's Porsche coming up the hill. I remember saying, this Porsche's done a great job keeping it tidy. Immediately off. Right? It was in my heart. I knew. I'm like, he's doing a really good job, and then he wasn't.
And then he was, yeah.
So, if you ask, you say, I've said all these things about these drivers and I've never seen them cursed because you knew you wanted them cursed. It's only once you let go of that, right, free yourself, that the curses will flow. That was you, Lachlan. You were doing such a good job, mate. Such as we say,
What
these
is
guys
this
not.
absolute cluster? What on earth?
Yes, Lachlan Nichols was doing such a good job at Bathurst, and then it just Porsche things done him. Yeah, I remember it.
You can see that none of the drivers are British because nobody knows how to form a queue.
No, it's just. Is this even a grid? This is just
I
a
think
kerfuffle of cars.
I can imagine people are out there like, I need to get temp in these tyres, I need to get temp in these tyres, and then they just all of a sudden everything
Charge
stops.
through, smash the brakes. Charge through, smash the brakes. Yeah, it's one of those sort of things.
So
Oh,
I don't think I need to bother going through a tyre check because you would have to be out of your mind to try this on dry tyres.
well, you should have a look and see if anyone's accidentally made that mistake.
I mean, look, they might accidentally. No, I need to remember this key, right? So what we're looking for in the bottom right hand there, it says wet. That means they're on wet tyres. If
Is the
anyone's
safety
on-
car on wet tires?
Right.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I'll look for shame later. Just making sure no one's done themselves a mischief. Sorry to anyone just watching this. It's kind of the only way we have to even try and check. No, even
No,
the
it would
safety
appear
cars
not.
on
Even
wet
the
tyres.
safety cars on wets.
So yeah, it would have been absolute madness. We've seen it happen, but it's pretty rare.
I guess we're hoping that nobody has a Patrick Oliver fuel strategy for today.
We've all been there. We've all been there. They are forming up. Are you good for this one, JP? This is yours.
Sure, I'll take it.
Can't get away without one.
So safety car heads in. Gibbons leading the field. Holmes in second. Serwich, Misson, Girardi, Jacobs, Ricciuti, and McIntosh and Floyd is your top 10. So with a reverse grid style, the green flag will only come out when the leader basically reaches the first corner. So should be going green any moment now.
Green light, give us all you can.
It's green. Gibbons with a good pull away. Mercedes trying to send it on the inside there. Fairly clean so far. BMW a bit wide there. 4 wide coming into turn 2 is going to be interesting. Nice and clean up front. Is that McIntosh sending it? Very clean start so far. Much better than anticipated considering the weather. Ricciuti touching a bit of grass. That's going to compromise his turn 3. But everybody keeping it nice and clean. Floyd and who's that? Oh, neighbor doing VTEC things.
I'm not sure if this is him on his own or whether or not someone else is involved.
Yeah,
Really
might touch
quick.
the
Oh, he's
grass.
touched the
And
grass.
that's the
Just
grass.
the curb.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
One of my Team Kovacs team members, so RIP to him.
Yeah, hopefully it all comes back together. Now it looks like no safety cars or anything like that as we catch back up to real time. Everyone's looking nice and clean. Gibbons, he's away. The sector time's now starting to get all updated. And we get a true understanding of the running order. I'm not seeing anyone getting shuffled around too much, so that means by and large about the same order that we came in with.
So Sherwich, if that position isn't correct, but he's made up a couple of positions from the start there. I think.
Yeah, I think
Or
you're
am I
right.
completely wrong.
No, because he was involved around some of these Nissan and Girardi. He's involved in those kind of battles in the previous race. Is this safety?
Safety
Oh, kids,
car?
this is a safety car. My
Well, what's-
apologies.
Don't know
So-
what's had that occur.
Didn't notice any big enough incidents, but there is a car frozen in turn 2 there. Car
Yeah, that might be
557.
That's 6
Or
or
is that the
7
safety car?
safety car.
Oh, okay, sorry, I couldn't there. It's a bit of a odd call on the safety call, but
That's okay, that's okay. For some reason, race
So I'm
control
gonna-
overlay's not working. That's alright.
Blame Foul Minion in chat for this one, as he said it's such great clean racing. So just blame him for the safety car there.
Yeah, didn't quite catch. I didn't see any yellow flags, but I am blind, I think, so I'm sure there was probably something that we may have missed, but there is a safety car, so there is going to be a restart. I'm looking forward to calling that death. That's going to be great. But for now, back to where we were. It'll be single file restart though, so Gibbons will have control. There does appear to be one car in the pits. I can't quite tell that number, but it's someone, and
33.
they're not happy. Is that 33? I think it is. Hopefully Jamie will be able to tell us who that is.
33 is David Neighbour, so...
So
into
the
the
Honda,
yes.
Going into the pits, repairing that damage. Smart idea. He will probably get left though due to the safety car restart. He's able to go full speed back around to try and catch up, but I can confidently say he's not going to have enough time. But safety car in now. Gibbo's going to have the restart, I doubt. Yep, he's just going to go straight for it. Samwise saw it coming, so Gibbo doesn't quite get the restart that he wanted. Cherwietz didn't see it coming though. Bad start from him, and he's going to have miss and right on him already. Oh, Gibbo wide. Oh, keeps it there though, Samwise. If he just kept his foot in it. There's been another... Oh, for Christ, Jesus.
So we're going to have to go back a fair bit of time in this one, so this is back a minute, but we've got another safety car, so we've got time to sort this out. Back of the pack looks to have had some big old issues.
I don't know what to think.
Well, we'll find out, So, Pete Chalmers, I can give you the tip, I think he's been the victim here at some point, because in real time he's in the pits. We'll see what
I'll be
happens.
right back.
No worries at all.
Let's see what's happened. Has there
Oh,
been a bit
it's-
of a break?
Oh,
no. Oh, Jesus, okay.
This has just gone a bit sideways. And then it's the right call to re-establish the safety car, because now there's a massive gap here, and people just need some time to untangle this.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of unhappy drivers in that voice chat at the moment, I can only imagine, but Chalmers in the pits now.
No, catch back up. Which gives me another moment to try and figure out why the race control overlay is not working. It should be, and it is not. So, you know, it's just doing what it wants to do to me. So absolutely no good reason for it not to work, but it doesn't want to. So, you know, what can I do?
You can't do anything.
Try and get that one to have another go. No, it's not interesting. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway, so we
Yeah.
get everything back in now. I think the safety car is going to peel away, I suspect. Oh, it'll be at the end of this lap, so everyone's got a bit more time. Chalmers is on the run now at near full race pace to try and get himself back up the grid.
Oh, it's going to be doubt he's going to get round. It's a fairly tough ask.
Yeah, Neighbour at least has gotten himself back in the order. He has gotten his pit stop done. He's on the lead lap. So it's not going to hurt him as badly as it could otherwise. Get a bit of an idea. Chalmers as he legs it pretty hard. Oh, he might be close.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be enough, though, unfortunately.
This is...
Especially when... Oh, I thought he wasn't going to pull it up there, but we are going to come back to the restart. Safety car's pulled off again.
Tell you what, if he can get up there...
Get round.
He's going to be one of the only ones with tie attempts, but...
Right, let's try this race restart again. Gibbo's off again. Sam, I saw it coming again. Chewiats didn't drop back as much. Still didn't quite catch on in time. Misson's definitely going to be right on the back of Chewiats now. As Samwise goes for that move again as he did last time. Hopefully there's not death at the back. I don't think there is, thank God, this time. Gibbo, though, defending the inside. Samwise says, that's fine. Around the outside works for me, but can't quite pull it up. As we're seeing... mainly 6/10 gaps at the moment. Johnson's right on the back of Baldwin as we see through that first sector. Chewiats. Trainer 3 behind. It looks like it's Rashuti with McIntosh who's gotten past. No, that's Girardi, I dare say, sorry. Gibbo made a mistake at the chicane. Samwise says, thank you very much. I'm going to get through. And he's going to be inside
on the outside down
chicane. Yeah. Oh, Gibbo's on the grass. That's not advised at all. Oh. He's going to pull it up, though. I think he's got a lot of pressure on him now from Chewy. Samwise can just pull away. 30 minutes left after 2 safety cars.
And interestingly, that rain drop is coming sooner. So within the next 10 minutes and the next 30 minutes, which we'll just get to, is decreasing rain. Oh, it's Holmes.
Oh, no.
Gets a bit loose off the hairpin, and you can see he's trying to just compress Gibbons a little bit, squeeze him as much as he can. Gibbons title told his line is going to try.
Yeah, Samwise. Oh, he's missed. He's hit the curb, and now Chewiats might even have a go. Gibbo's passed just. Yep, Chewiats looks to the outside, might move back to the inside. Oh, Samwise, though, knows what's up. Oh, no, tap with Gibbo. Oh, is he going to save it? No, he's not. That's death.
Girardi in there.
Oh, and someone up ahead as well. I didn't quite catch
Gibbo.
Girardi. Yeah, exactly as you said.
Oh,
debacle continues.
There. That's Johnson, I think.
There's more.
Oh, that's really unfortunate there for Samwise, but more unfortunate, unfortunately, for Girardi. It's just one of those things. It's Jacobs there, I think. No, it's not. If I could read.
There's a few cars.
23rd, that's Jason Leonard Scott behind Girardi there now. So he's dropped back pretty much, excuse me, 20 places, which is not something any driver wants to see, but that's the negatives to racing in the wet.
It looked to me like through turn 1, Holmes actually just had more grip than what he expected. The car kind of wrenched around faster than what he might have thought it was going to, and that meant that he compressed into Gibbons and it all went pear-shaped from there. But F's in the chat have been spoken and are appropriate. Jump back actually to this front pack because this is... I don't think the excitement is done yet here. So you've got Chewiats just top of screen, just gone out of shot, up onto the left, all the way down to, what's that, Rashuti in P8. Everyone there inside a couple of second window. So positions there to be gained if anyone can get a run. If you make a mistake, then you'll drop a couple, that's for sure. And that's only with a small mistake. A big mistake and it's all sideways. Car 118, Pete Viney has had an off. So he's got behind him Hazik. We're watching them a bit just before. Find out what's happened here. The Honda a little bit easy to unsettle sometimes. Looks pretty okay through turn 1.
Just lost the rear, yep. And the Ferrari's giving him a good tap round just to finish him off.
Has corrected his facing, I guess, at least.
Yeah.
Everyone
I
else
think
got
the
it.
Ferrari actually helped more than harmed there.
I think you're right.
But now Vine is under pressure from Noratsvar. Oh god, I just butchered that. But anyway, we'll move on. Mason.
Car 140 I see is off as well. Who is that?
Who's that? It's Jason Leonard Scott. So he's made a bit of a mistake coming into that second chicane. That's not what you like to see. Maybe a little bit of a tap here from the Aston. Oh, yep. Oh, he's put the Aston in the wall. Oh, no. Oh, Lambo and... Oh, no. And been tapped by the Honda. Car's off the track. That's not what you'd like to see.
He's just kind of been stranded there in the middle. Gets it into reverse and gets it out of there.
Yeah, it was good racing from you there, JJ. That was a bit tough, unfortunately, around that turn 3 just with that Bentley, but you did well. Very good job from you, sir.
So Chewitt has gotten himself through up into P1 while all this action's been occurring, and Gibbons, I think, is more focused on Misson and Jacobs behind than he can be ahead. It's just, it really is a tale of who can master the conditions, as we have now dropped down from medium rain into light rain. So certainly quicker than I think what we really expected it to, but will that have caught some drivers off with maybe slightly over pressure tyres?
Looks like Smith is putting some severe pressure on Floyd as well.
That's a good catch. You're not wrong. Indeed, showing the nose. He just slots in line. Certainly some opportunities though, I think. And up ahead actually, let's try and catch it, because Jacobs, for half a second there, he might have a go at missing. Instead, has to slot back in. Keep this eye on Smith though, maybe get a bit of view from his perspective.
It's always so tricky in the rain finding the right balance between pushing hard enough and avoiding the tiny mistakes that will, in a close race like this, it'll cost you 5 or 6 positions just for a tiny little mistake. So
yeah, very tricky. And you know, you come into the first chicane and the first question is, where am I going to brake? Second question is, where are they going to brake? So you can see there's been another off. It looks like Liam Kay. He's jumped himself into the pits.
I think Smith may have gotten a warning there. That was quite a big cut over the second part of the second chicane there. I'm quite surprised we're not seeing more drive-throughs today, actually, because the track limits here are quite tricky through the chicanes.
We saw a lot yesterday. I wonder in these wet conditions as well, you almost need to use those limits for when you have a bit of a moment. Zanchin has had an off.
McIntosh had a very poor run in front of Floyd, just out of the last corner there.
Did.
Just before you strolled it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, strolled it, that's right. See, just lost the rear coming around here on the brakes, maybe. Too much. Yeah. Yep. Too much curb.
That's the. I was talking about that a bit. In the earlier race, in the earlier split.
Yeah.
Very easy in some of these cars to catch the front right-hand corner right in that dip, and it whips you right around, dry or wet. I think that might be what we just saw there. So, Zach Smith has kept that pressure on Floyd, and Floyd has kept that pressure on McIntosh. So, this is still an unresolved tension, I think, here. And the drivers ahead aren't exactly skipping away from them either while they scrap. They're all in their own little battles. Gibbons keeping some pressure on Chariot's. Indeed, closing that gap. Misson staying on the back of Jacobs. And behind these guys, Johnson, Raschuti, and Baldwin. Actually, Baldwin is right on top of Raschuti. There you go. That is about as on top of as you can be. And Raschuti has to yield, I think.
Yeah, Baldwin would definitely want to be moving forward here, but it's so hard to get through the field.
In the wet conditions, there can definitely be opportunities, but it's also, you have to be that much more careful, don't you, when applying pressure, that you're not causing a much bigger incident. So we can see on the track map, actually, as I have a look at that, it's kind of a couple of very distinct clusters of action. So what's that? Chariot's through to, who's car 231? Sassano, so top 13, all in a kind of front blob. And then you've got Brian Tan all the way down to car 78. That's Chalmers in 27. So about another 13 or 14 cars, all the big clump there as well. A couple exiting from the pits, joining right into the back of that tail.
Having done many races with Carl Johnson in the Honda, I know that it is one of the widest NSXs in the world. So Baldwin is going to have a tough old time getting past him.
Here we get an idea of what he's up against. I think I immediately see what you're talking about. This, you know, you could almost think that maybe there's a gap on the right side, but no, on the left-hand side there. But Johnson just left not quite enough room on the outside. If you tried it, you'd have a couple of wheels just on the grass. You know, perfect measurement of just how much room you can, you know, how defensive you can go without compromising yourself.
Exactly, and he's so consistent in terms of never giving that little opportunity of just slipping up. Hopefully that's not a curse, but
yeah. No. Again, kind of, you'd be suicide to try and tuck it on the outside there, and just not enough to make a better. Sorry, on the inside, not enough to make a good outside run.
It's just I thought I might have touched the dirt. There's just a game of patience here.
close enough for this end.
Yeah, Baldwin's going to go for it. I think Johnson's not going to give in, but he's just going to let him have it. He knows that Bentley's much better over the chicane than his Honda. So now Baldwin's got a bit of work to do. He's only a second or so off, excuse me, off Zach Smith. So, and they're in a three-way battle at the moment. That's extremely tight.
Zach Smith, about as close to Floyd as you can be.
I think he's just at the back checking the panel gaps to make sure it's all within regulations there.
Yeah. Whoa, what an exit. That is... Whoa.
Very nicely done.
Hang on. You never know. Floyd's not going to give in. He's a... Oh.
Good move.
Just got
Very
that
good.
well done. That's probably one of the best moves we've seen this evening. It was just perfectly timed. And, oh, hang on. Oh, is he going to hold it?
That
No,
was,
he forced wide.
exceptionally close.
Well, it was a good move.
Oh, I mean, full credit to Floyd as well.
Yeah.
He gave it back. And it's just that making sure that you've got enough car up alongside that the other driver has to respect, has to give you enough room, and then
That's right.
pressing that to your advantage.
You have read the OOR Sporting Code rules do state that your front wheel has to line up with the driver. And yes, I'm not making a mistake there. The driver in the car, the driver character man, got to line up with them.
So this is where the Mercedes takes a distinct disadvantage because the driver is so much further back, with about 800% of the car in front of them.
In front of it, yeah, that's right. So it's just probably one of the few things they probably take into consideration, just where the driver is in that Merc, because He's a very long boy in the front. Oh, Smith there is just getting a good taste of what it's like to be a long boy. Oh, I guess I was
Johnson and Baldwin also joining this one.
Yeah, this is where Floyd caught Smith out last time. Is Smith going to say no, thank you very much, sir? Or
Oh, McIntosh is interested.
oh, that's so
There's Baldwin.
close. Yeah, McIntosh as well. That's
No,
cool. Yeah,
Baldwin,
you're
sorry,
sorry.
Baldwin.
Can you not screw me up? That'd be great.
Oh no!
That's funny. Oh,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no.
Oh, and the synchronization.
Oh, no. Oh, that Honda Johnson. Oh, God. Oh,
God.
no. Oh, Jesus. Oh, there we go. There's 5 positions for Floyd gone. That's not what you love to see.
Oh, and they both.
And now those tyres will be cooked. Yep.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that hurts. Any driver as a whole. That's just one of those things. Johnson.
Definitely an appropriate amount of F's in the chat, sorry.
Oh, that's definitely an appropriate amount. Bryce now just on his teammate George Fowler at the moment. As we see, there's Brian Tan ahead as well. Good run. Looks like you'll get him, I dare say, in the braking zone. He does. I think Fowler's just let him through to try. Ooh, that's a lot of curb to try and let Bryce attack on Tan now. You can abuse track limits a bit more in the wet, of course, because it's a lot more lenient. Because you don't have as much control over the car, so you can use most of these curbs and get away with it.
That little sausage on the exit after the chicane there is one of the hardest ones to get right. If you nail that, it just puts you offline completely.
Yep, we see, I don't know if that's only just popped up. Bryce has got a 15-second. I don't know if that's only just popped up that second, but I'm not quite sure what that's for. So does 10 now. Where's that come from? That must have been possibly on a safety car restart or just for an individual incident. I'm not quite sure.
If we do get a break, can we get a replay of the synchronized spin through turn 1?
That's a good point, because it was very synchronized. Right, let's have a quick look. I'm looking for. Oh, okay, that's
There it is. Oh,
hang on, okay, it's kind of ugly, to a little bit ugly. And I mean, it's a very small thing. You can see they're both, and then at the same time.
what would that score at the Olympics?
That's an easy 9.2, definitely.
9.2. Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
I mean, the landing wasn't fantastic, but the execution
No, it
of the
wasn't.
move was brilliant.
Oh, it was absolutely on point.
That's it. Oh, we jump straight back
Porsche.
in.
Hello, that's Bryce.
Ooh,
through.
little
That's
tip on the
oh,
exit
there's a
there.
spin there. There's a spin there on. Oh, far out.
Oh, and
Have
it's
we
all
seen
gone
enough incidents? No, we haven't.
So this is Fowler on 10 here. Oh no!
I just
no,
had
no,
the
no.
dive. Oh, that's fair. That's play on umpire. That's not so much play on umpire. Oh no! Niston death. That's Johnson, I think.
And then 10.
Yeah, that's the pits for Tan. I think that might actually be game over for him. I think he's not happy with that. So it's Fowler now. Jacobs has gotten past Misson and Gibbo and is now on the hunt for Chewiets. I don't think Jacobs has gotten a win this season yet, so he'll be looking for that. Only 13 and a half minutes to go now. So much use of those chicanes, especially in the wet. If you do abuse them too much though, you can get a penalty handed to you from the stewards for purposefully what's the word, abusing track limits, couldn't think, but so hopefully you don't see that. They are using as much as they can. So now Chewiets has got bell in his hands. The Ferraris, we saw Ryan Houlihan last night in split yellow in the first race, which was wet damp track really showed what that Ferrari can do. So maybe Chewiets can pull that off as well.
And interesting quick footnote as well, track is back to damp, so rain's still coming down, but with the amount of cars, similar to what we saw in qualifying, that dry line is actually reasonably established, as much as it can be with rain still falling. So, remembering that these drivers started the race on medium rain and quite a wet track, so could be seeing some pressures start to really chew them out. We'll notice if we see drivers looking to try and hit the extra wet lines and drop their tyre temperatures and therefore pressures down, as well as we see McIntosh survive what some of the other cars would not, which is a big old pounce over the curbs and then a couple of wheels on the grass in the wet for good measure. All fine.
Yeah, that's
No
just
dramas.
shows how great the Bentley is around here. This is one of the Bentley's better tracks, I do believe. I'm not exactly sure what it's extremely strong at, but this is by far up there. Just shows that front-engined cars are best around tracks with lots of curbs. As we see Jacobs really putting that pressure on Chewiets, now braking really early. Not too sure what Chewiets is like under pressure. Haven't seen too many races where he's been under pressure, so this is where things will get spicy. I know myself, being under a lot of pressure in a P1 position, you've just got to keep yourself calm and just do your best. In my defence, I didn't have Jacobs behind me. It's probably a good thing. No, actually, I'd rather have Jacobs behind me than who I did. Oh, that McLaren's looking so stable, but so is the Ferrari. Oh, better exit though. Jacobs just has to. It's like, sure, it's maybe a little. Oh, he just pulled it up. I thought he was late on the brakes there. He's hit the curve. That's going to give Chewiets that run at missing. Doing very well. He's just going to jump in on this battle as well. He's got the front engine advantage. So, oh, Jacobs. Oh, I thought he was going to lose the rear there. He's held it though. Well done.
I think we're starting to see lap times are just dropping a little bit across the board. People just finding a bit more traction with the slightly reduced wetness, which is to be expected. So I wonder how this is going to change.
Might actually come up to temp now if they were too low before.
Baldwin's in the pits. I'm not sure what's caused that.
What's happened there?
I'm not entirely certain, but he is. That's happened, so unfortunate. Race on. Ben Floyd getting a run here on Sassano, and it looks like he's about to close that one out. Sassano being a bit stranded on the outside line there, with Floyd able to really kind of bully the space. So there was that question earlier as well, what kind of lap times are good here? Well, we're seeing best lap time I'm seeing is 1:33.2. Let's be fair, that's Zach Smith, who is still in a scrap. Maybe he could go quicker without traffic, I'm not sure. Car 78, see, has just gone off. Who is that? Why do I not see them in my number list? That's Pete Chalmers. So he's here in a bit of a scrap with, I think that's George Fowler. Oh, and they're both just tumbled into each other. Oh, you do not want to be facing the wrong way there. I'm not even sure what you do about it. Not that! Not that!
No, look, that's not advised.
Oh. That's, Muhammad has just had... It's not really a tank slapper, but it is a something unpleasant to watch.
I think the chat can just put some Fs every, let's say, a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how you get out of it. Like, he's tried to just quickly get it turned around, but And we've got a helicam at least, so it looked to me like maybe if we reversed it up a whole bunch, and you can find a bit of space to turn around, but... Oh, that's a tough one.
I must admit, McIntosh has done a great job so far. He's been under pressure from Smith and Floyd at some stage for the whole race. And he's kept it together so far.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Washington is trying to get back in on this. He's got to get past Raschuti though, and that is a tough ask. What this is good for is the top three. They're finding more and more space away from Gibbons and Gibbons, I think. Here comes the cork in the bottle, but it's for McIntosh and Smith.
So Jake did the Oliver strat with fueling. So
Yeah, we've been there. You've done a 20-minute race fuel in wet conditions. 40 minutes, not going to work out. Or Smith gives maybe a little bit of a bump draft to McIntosh, just not intentional or anything like that. He's just
letting him know he's there.
He's got a good run though, and McIntosh has had to go out on the grass. This could be what he's been looking for about the last 20 minutes. He's just got to make sure he doesn't have to give up too much space.
Yeah, he's just going to try and put that pressure on Smith, but we know Smith can take pressure, and Raschuti and Washington are there as well on McIntosh, so it's going to prove tough. Just under 6 minutes now to go, so there's only probably 3 to 4 laps to go. This is a BMW there, it's just going to let everyone through. Oh, going to hold up his teammate though, and that's like Washington true actually.
Yeah, Raschuti just ate too much curve on the inside there.
Was that? I want to have a look. Was that an excellent bit of team orders? Is that what happened?
Not sure what that was. I think that was just accidental, unfortunately. Raschuti just hit too much of that second curve in the wet, and Washington just said thank you very much.
It does look like, to my eyes, while this is happening, the rain definitely just getting that little bit easier, and it's going to be soon. There's only 5 minutes left in the race though, so I do really wonder for some folks' tyre pressures.
When did Misson get past Jacobs?
That's a good point. So we will have just missed it. Like while we're having another look at that incident that's occurred. And
McIntosh must have had an incident as well. He's dropped back down to 11.
yeah, exactly. I was just wondering. I'm like, shouldn't there be a Bentley here? No, he's dropped a fair way, so
Good run for Smith here.
Oh, it's nearly tapped the back of Gibbo, but let that one slide. Washington's made up another position. McIntosh made a mistake.
Benjamin Wright calling out that Ben D car 73 doing some very consistent laps, and he really is actually.
Yeah, he's been very consistent. Oh, there's a Porsche off ahead that could cause. Oh.
That is a backmarsher Porsche. That is car 86
Backmarsher Porsche.
Backmarker. Oh, it's getting late.
Yeah, it is.
Slowly losing it. Porsche's in the wet, always tricky.
Shouldn't it just be Porsche's always tricky?
Yeah.
It's just that bit harder then again, isn't it?
Oh, you're going to have to go up. I think Jamie Misson's right on the back of Chewiet's now. Oh, he was.
I think Chewiet has answered your question about how he does under pressure so far.
Yeah.
He's doing really, really well. I mean, he's done, I think, a couple of seasons in the Porsche, so literally anything else will feel, I think, a lot more stable to him. He's practiced with the hardest. Oh, has Smith just gotten past? He has.
He has. Very well done.
Oh,
Patience.
we've waited so long, I'm going to have another look. Got to see how this finally came. Very wide line.
Oh, just so much more. Went around the outside, maybe switch back. Yeah, force give away wide. Yeah, nice. Oh, bit of a tap, but that was well done.
Washington coming in at a rate of knots as well, so he's going to be back in that one.
So it looks like it's going to be the third last lap we're on now. Should be 2 more after this.
Let's see, we're getting towards the end.
Floyd right on the back of Powell as well, making his way back into the top 10.
Yeah, Cheviot just did his fastest lap. There just saw 33.699.
That's what JP was just talking about as well. It's Floyd doing some great lap times, but it's started to drop down now that he's got some traffic again. Car 118 is off. That is
Viney.
Viney.
It is Viney. Let's take a look. You might be right. So he's got ahead of him. That's Luke Johnson in the 19 Nissan, just ahead of him.
Just awesome.
Tipped the wheel.
Oh, someone else followed him.
Just
Wanted
is
to
that
be a
in
part of it?
solidarity or?
Yeah.
I guess so. Not exactly
Corey
sure.
is saying take the battle for
that's
podium.
Holmes.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all
Oh,
you
missing
can.
is a lap. Ferrari's got to get past. Hopefully that won't slow him down. 1 lap to go
No,
now.
I think this is it. Will they get across the line in time?
Yeah, they will.
cross in time easy.
Oh,
But Jacobs now. Oh, this is not what Misson wants. Misson wants that position off. Cheviot's for the win. He's going to get a podium at least.
Oh,
Jacobs.
Jacobs, all well saved.
Yeah, very well done. And Misson's got a bit of work to do now. I dare say he's about 7 or 6 tenths back again. Jacobs already recovering the time lost in that turn 1 little incident he had there with himself. Just hoping he can try and get that P2 back. Good run. Oh, Misson's going to have to... Oh, he should have gone for the inside. Jacobs holds back though. Misson can take all of this curb, unlike the other two. So maybe there could be a late fight back for the win, but there is 8 tenths between them, so it's looking unlikely. Oh, but he pulls it up just there. Cut a little bit too much there. Definitely going to be a warning, even if it is in the wet.
Final lap, I don't think he really cares about warnings if he has some spare now.
Oh no, if he's got some spare now, he'll use them and abuse them just to try and make up that time. Let's see if... Oh,
Right, Meddings
Cheviot has gone deep. Yeah, Meddings with the drive-through. So he's...
I think Churwich has done enough to hold on to this.
As
Handle
he
pressure
goes deep
very well.
here. It's very well played from Cheviot. Well fought from Misson, but Cheviot's just had the pace. What a race from him. Very well done. Driver of the day for me. Got to be Misson though. What a drive. What a drive.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut away from it, but something happened between Gibbons and Washington. And Gibbons has dropped all the way down to P9, whereas Washington in P5. She'll cross the line in. So yeah, Gibbons slotting in behind Floyd and Powell.
As Moritz pointed out in the chat, sorry, the Honda in 7th is the highest place yet so far this season for any Honda. It's a good drive by Cole Johnson there.
Very good drive from Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce Meddings has picked up a drive-through just at the end. I'm not exactly sure what that's for. Maybe track limits on the final lap. That always hurts.
Yeah, that's got to hurt.
There's a few more as the rain is on its last legs. But it has lasted a race. Bender has avoided a wet race once again.
That must be his skill as avoiding wet races, I swear, and rejoins.
Yeah, you might be right. Whereas for is I think going to be the last to cross the line. No, there's a couple more yet to come. A few guys whose races have just not quite gone the way they'd like, unfortunately. I think it's actually going to be Sean Jacobs. No, he's just doing a few extra meters for his 100 hours. It's going to be Holmes to finish it off for us. And that's flipped. So Holmes, unfortunately, a couple of big incidents really cost him. He's really, really well done at the start and really well done in the first race, but not to be. So there you go. The final order. Chariot's holds P1
Green light. Go,
in
go, go.
race 2 from Misson by not much at all. Jacob just behind. Worth pointing out as well, Johnson P2 for the Pro-Am class behind Misson, who finished P2 overall, with Powell finishing up those steps as well. And Bendique, Mason and Matthews for the AM class. So some difficult racing all round, but Zolder gave me a lot more excitement than what I thought I'd see. So I am a happy man tonight. You guys, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, look, that was some quality racing there in race 2. A couple of incidents, of course, there. Unfortunate there for Samwise, but that drive from both Chariot and Misson, that was... you can't look past that. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have to say the battles by Smith applying the pressure on everybody ahead of him, and just so many close battles throughout the whole race, and seeing the podium finish within 7/10 of each other. Yeah, definitely fantastic race to see.
Yeah, excellent. It's worth pointing out, I didn't see if it got pipped right at the end, but Smith did do a purple lap on the second last lap, but had a little bit too much of a gap to try and make it to the podium, but excellent driving by him. So my MVP is the rain. I loved it. Love a wet race.
My MVP is the synchronized spinning.
that was very elegant. Even the way when they got started again, they did that together, which I thought was nice, a nice touch. But yeah, it just gets a bit trickier in the wet, but by and large, a relatively all right race. Anyway, it is late for me, well past my bedtime, so I'm off. Thank you again, gentlemen. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks to...
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
No worries, and thanks to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate
Don't
it.
forget to press like on the video in the chat.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time.
was you, but you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see